Yo, yo, yo. Excuse me. What up, peoples? Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you. Just the news today. Kind of been trying to prepare everybody for that fact. Yeah, yesterday was our normal day off. Today is a bit of a day where there's live stuff going on, and yeah, it's just the news today. So just the news today, and no Saturday and Sunday streams. There's a bunch of family stuff we got going on during this time of the year. It happens every year, and so no stream today, man. No gaming stream, no gaming content. Just the news. Just the news. What up, Vault? How you doing, buddy? So we'll do the news. We'll see what's going on in the industry. We will have a full day of streaming tomorrow, and then Saturday and Sunday will be down. And then when we get back on Monday, it'll probably be time for like Alan Wake stuff. Probably. I don't know quite yet what we're gonna play tomorrow. I'm still trying to determine that, but we'll try to get a game in that we can finish. I don't know. We'll see. We'll either play a game that we can finish in one day, or we'll play a day that we can, or we'll play a game that we can finish in 2 days, and we'll finish it on Monday, and then start Alan Wake on Tuesday. We'll see. We'll figure it out though, and I'll let everybody know. Okay. How you doing, Vault? What's up, buddy? So I hope everybody had a great day yesterday. I don't have new stuff to show off yet from yesterday's day off. There will be a bunch of new YouTube content hitting public, going public a little bit later today for everybody to check out. But as far as new stuff for the stream right now, there's not a lot of new stuff to show off. There has been here lately. There's been a lot of new stuff every day. Every time I've taken Wednesdays here lately, I've been having a lot of new stuff to show off. Yesterday was not one of those days where I got a lot done that I can show off right now. But it's one of those things. It's usually like progression, and then new stuff will show up. Then it takes a little bit more progression before new stuff shows up. So it just is what it is, man. But we're working, dude. It's happening. So let's do what we do, man. Let's get in here. And let's see what we got for video gaming news for today, October 19th. And let me just go ahead and give a big happy birthday shout out to my dude. All right. You know who you are, man. Happy flipping birthday. Let's go ahead and do this. We got those tunes. All right, let's see what's new in the news. We actually need to take this, go custom. We're gonna be going from there to there. Seems good. All right. Phil Spencer explains why there won't be any Activision games on Game Pass in 2023. Yeah, look, man. We'll hit on this real quick, but you know, there's a lot of ins and outs that they've got to figure out as far as like their acquisition of Activision Blizzard, the best way to go about taking care of this new portfolio, rolling which games from which side of that acquisition into their subscription service, and you know, there's a lot of ins and outs to it. Well, so Davey, why do I still run year one? You mean just specifically to start up the stream? Or why do I run them at all? Give me a little bit more what you're asking here, dude. And good morning, buddy. How you doing? To start up the stream, because I just recently, so yeah, okay, so I'm going to answer this in a couple of different ways here. So yeah, we are now into We don't have 3 years worth of streaming under our belt yet. So let's be clear about that. We are into our 3rd year of streaming. We've only completed 2 years of streaming at this point, right? Which means that I'm currently finishing getting like the year 2 montages complete. It's not like I have 3 years worth of content to make montages out of right now, right? So, I'm in the process of getting year 2 montages done. Yeah. I kind of explained this to everybody already probably a couple of weeks ago. The way that this works is like, yeah, we have a couple of new montages now, but the way that I ran everything before is changing a little bit because my plan was always to take all the montages I make and kind of run them randomly for starting up the stream and for breaks and everything. And now that we have new montages, that will happen. But it takes time for me to work on figuring out how to best run that and make it work for all the software and everything that I'm running for the stream. You know? So I know that like for a lot of people when they watch and everything, it's just a show. Right? It's just a show. And it seems very straightforward and easy. It's usually not. It is quite to... It's usually like kind of semi-complicated to quite complicated sometimes on the back end of how to get things to work the right way. You know what I mean? So basically what I'm having to do now is figure out the best way to run with having numerous montages and finding different ways. I'm kind of juggling the best way, some different options. I'm looking into some different software that I might be able to utilize to whether I can rely on software to run the montages randomly for me, or if I need to just select them myself. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, right? And so that's what it is. And here before long, that's some of the stuff that I'm currently working on, and that's why I was just talking about just a second ago, is that sometimes you guys will see after a Wednesday off, you'll see progression for yourselves of what I've been working on, whether, you know, like new content, new redemptions for the community, new montages that I'll roll out, even if it's not, you know, like fully fleshed out for the way that I want it to be utilized for the stream moving forward. You'll at least get to see them in some capacity, right? But it's always, it always takes a lot of work and a lot of time to try and get everything fully built into the system that I already have running moving forward. And it's just very time intensive, man. It just really is. Creating the content itself takes a lot of time, and then finding the best way to implement it for the stream is also very time intensive also. I work on this stuff a lot. I mean, a lot of hours, dude, I spend on doing this stuff, and it just takes time is what it is. You know, it just takes a lot of time. So here before long, it'll change, and we'll have it set up to where different montages will run to start up the stream. There'll probably be a new overlay. I'm working on a new overlay for the montages to try and let people know that, yo, you're watching clips and highlights, and live content will be back soon. There's just always more to do. You know what I mean? So it's coming. It's coming. It's just it just takes time, man. It just takes time. Yeah. I think that one of the things I'll tell you that I do like about having the same montage run every day is that it's a familiar thing for certain people, and familiarity is nice to some people. So whenever they hop in here and they see that same montage running, they're like, "Oh, sick, dude! Like, let's go. We're about to get into some live content in the channel. We're getting ready to get into the news and stuff." You know, so sometimes familiarity can be good. I know that also having new stuff to watch is also fun, which is why I'm working on the new stuff. But some people enjoy the familiarity of having, you know, that same kind of feel for like when you hop in somewhere, like for entertainment wise, and whether it be a song or the visuals or anything like that, to where it's like, all right, man, let's pop this thing off. You know, it feels familiar, it feels good, you know what you're about to get into, and you're ready to kind of get going, you know. So it's not the worst thing in the world to have the same montage running for a little bit, or the same startup stuff running for a little bit, or whatever. We'll talk about this. I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprises about what Phil says here for the Activision Blizzard games not hitting until early next year. They've got a lot of stuff to sort out as far as this portfolio, yeah. Okay. Let's do this. So many sports popping off at the same time right now. We gotta take all that stuff out, man. Yeah, I've talked about this. Yeah, I don't think that Davey, you know, was saying that we need to like get rid altogether of the first year montage. You know, I don't think that's what he was necessarily getting at. That wasn't the impression I got, anyways. I think it was just more along the lines of, you know, why are we still running old clips and highlights when we have new ones now? You know, and it's just a process of me still trying to work it out and get it all implemented into everything that runs here for the channel. And you know, I think I've almost got it figured out. I think I've almost got it all straight on how I'm gonna run it. And I think actually probably by like next week, you'll probably start actually getting to see some different montages. Some of the different montages start up the stream and stuff like that, you know. So that's probably a good bet. If not, within the next couple of weeks for sure, you know. Yeah. Ferret. Unacceptable! Yeah. So I'll never quit running like any of the montages. I mean, the reason that I do them is because, yeah, I like the I think it's fun for all of us that have been around for a very long time to be able to kind of, it gives us a real nice way to reminisce about some of the old things we've done. You know what I mean? The older funny fun times we've had in the channel. And so I'll never quit running the montages. You know what I mean? We're just going to keep getting more and more and more. So there'll just continue to be more randomness on which ones we get to watch. You know, that's basically the way it'll be moving forward. So that was always kind of my plan from the get-go, was to like continue to kind of grab some of the better content over the time that we spend streaming and everything, so that we can put these kind of small videos together and everything, and run them as startup break time, and we might even start doing them as like ending things for the stream too. Just you know, I don't know, we'll see. But it's just something nice, I think, that gives everybody, it can be, you know, longtime community members, gives us all something to look at and kind of reminisce and look at all the stuff we've done over the years. Or for new people, I think it is a good look at a lot of the fun stuff that we do here in the community, which is why I'll never quit running any of it, you know? It'll just always be more and more content that'll be just randomly run, yeah. I think that's why it's nice. I think that's why I like to do it. It's this kind of the same thing. It's the same idea and premise as to why I try and keep as much of the content as possible that we do here in the channel. You know, all of the news segments, all of the, and this is another very time intensive thing for me, but it's important to me because like all of the news segments and especially all of the playthroughs we do. All of the playthroughs we do for games and everything, it's important to me to keep all that content because I think it's nice for community members we have that might not be able to be here and attend and see some of those playthrough days. They can always go back and watch it if I hold on to it, because I'm always putting it on the Twitch channel. I'm always putting it on the YouTube channel as well. You know, it might not show up on YouTube as fast as it does on the Twitch channel, but it'll be in both places. It's always on Twitch faster, actually. It's always on the Twitch channel faster in playlists. But I am always uploading everything to YouTube too. It just takes me longer to get in there and get everything made public. But it gives everybody a place to go back and watch things if they missed anything. As well as, we always have new people becoming part of the community. And like I had somebody talking to me the other day about, oh dude, you should play The Evil Within. You know, I was like, I played both of them already, you know? And then I just linked them the playlists, you know what I mean? I was like, if you want to see the gameplay, I was like, we played them on the hardest difficulty. It was a lot of fun. Games are great. Here's our playthroughs we did, you know what I mean? So it's always something that I think is, you know, it's fun for long-term community members as well as new community members to be able to, you know, see and enjoy the content we've always done, which is why I've always tried to take time, and it is very time intensive, but I think it's worth it. Yeah. Yeah, Phil Spencer is also open to breaking the seal on some forgotten games. Dude, if Xbox and Microsoft are not looking at trying to bring back some of these iconic Blizzard games, bring them back into the fold, Blizzard and Activision games, into modern gaming, that is a miss, dude. I've talked about this for a long time, and this whole you know, idea of them acquiring Activision Blizzard, that portfolio they're grabbing is massive for the games that are already running, as well as IPs that have kind of gotten lost in time that aren't current, you know, live games that have been, you know, there's a lot of potential there all the way around, and Microsoft needs to take advantage of it, man. Next planetary annihilation game. Let's see what this is. New accessibility updates for Xbox. We'll see what those are. What? A dog named Peanut Butter is going to speedrun a Nintendo platformer at GDQ this year. What? Bro, I gotta see this. I love GDQ. Oh my god, dude, are you serious? Here you go, dude. Elon's new Galaxy Brain plan to save Twitter. Charge new users $1 per year to tweet. I know that's not gaming news, but I have to take a look at that real quick. He saw this new King Kong game. Yeah, it looked pretty bad. It's like 50 or 60 bucks on PlayStation 2. And dude, this looks like a PS2 game. It's pretty bad. It's pretty brutal. It should be like maybe a $10 or $15 game. Yeah, it's a lot, dude. It's a lot. Yo, thanks, dude. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite the list. Yeah, cool. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Nice, dude. Appreciate that. One second. Cool, man. Yeah, it'll be nice to look at this along with this article. Thanks, dude. Yeah, that's a lot, dude. You know what we're gonna notice here too, and we'll like go through a lot of this list. A lot of these Activision games, though. Those are King games. See something here. Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna notice here, and we'll talk about this whenever we like address this article, these two articles together. What you'll notice is there's gonna be a lot of Activision games that were traditionally PlayStation games over the years, right? Like Tony Hawk and Crash. You know what I mean? And if you guys remember, whenever Microsoft first started trying to acquire Activision Blizzard, and they were handing out those 10-year deals, the first 10-year deal they tried to hand out was to Sony. You recall that? The first 10-year deal they tried to hand out was to Sony PlayStation. And who shut that down? Ryan did, right? The guy that's now leaving PlayStation, right? Jim Ryan shot that down. At least he was the face of shooting that down. Now, that initial 10-year agreement was not just for Call of Duty. That agreement said, yo, we will keep all of those traditional Activision titles that have been part of PlayStation on your platform, along with Call of Duty. And PlayStation said, no. No. You guys are anti-competitive. We're not doing this. So then, when further on down the line, whenever PlayStation finally realized that they were losing this battle, and Microsoft and Xbox were going to quite probably going to end up acquiring Activision Blizzard. Xbox came back to them. Microsoft and Xbox came back and said, oh, well, now do you want a 10-year deal? But it's just for Call of Duty. You're only getting Call of Duty now. And they signed it. You know? So, had PlayStation just signed the initial 10-year deal that they were offered, they would have been able to keep a lot of these traditional PlayStation games from Activision on their platform, and now no longer. Oh yeah, exactly. Perfect analogy, Vault. Perfect analogy. Yeah. So they lost. They gambled and lost. Exactly, dude. They gambled and lost. And so a lot of those traditional titles that they've had on PlayStation are not going to be there anymore. You know, I don't know how many people remember that was a scenario that went down with that entire situation, but it absolutely did. We saw the entire, because you guys remember, like, all the email chains came out. There was all kinds of documentation that got leaked about that scenario. And we saw all of it. We saw emails. We saw the contracts, the gist, the main part of the contracts, everything. It was wild, dude. And PlayStation's gotta be kicking themselves in the butt for that one. Yeah. Look, I've never seen Jim Ryan as, like, necessarily. I don't think he's done a bad job, but I don't see him as somebody also that's, like, should necessarily be the face of a gaming corporation. You know what I mean? And I covered this not too long ago. Yeah. I don't think he's done a bad job, but he's not a Phil Spencer. I think Sony needs a Phil Spencer, dude. It's not just about business. It's about having somebody that's a true gamer in that position too. Somebody that your consumer base, which are gamers, can also relate to. You know what I mean? And Jim Ryan's not that guy. He never has been. Yeah. Phil Spencer is. I do think that Phil Spencer is that person. I think that Nintendo needs that guy. I think that PlayStation needs that guy. I think Xbox has done a great job of putting Phil Spencer in that position. He's a very, very smart business person, but he's a flipping gamer at heart. And it shows, dude. It shows. And I think that resonates with a lot of people in the industry. I think it resonates with a lot of their consumer base. It resonates with me, and I don't even play in their platform anymore. You know what I mean? But I've told people time and time again, if I was going to buy into the console market again, heavily, it would be with Xbox. And a big part of it would be because of Phil Spencer. No lie. It would be because of Phil Spencer. I think that's a huge thing for them. I don't think Xbox would be nearly the gaming company it is right now without Phil Spencer. I really believe that. Having a Phil Spencer for Sony or Nintendo would be great. Yeah, I agree. And I said this, I've got an article on the YouTube page where we address Jim Ryan stepping down as CEO from PlayStation, and that's my sentiment in that entire, like, clip from that news segment was PlayStation needs they need their version of Phil Spencer, you know? To be fair, I don't think that Jim Ryan did a bad job, but I think that he needed to be replaced a while back, you know? Because this industry needs somebody like Phil Spencer to be the face of your corporation, to be somebody that your consumer base and gamers look at. And it doesn't need to just be a facade. Don't get me wrong, Xbox doesn't do everything great, but they do a lot of things, in my view, better than some of the than the other console players do. I really do think that, and I think that Phil Spencer plays a big part in that because of who he is as a gamer. He's not, you know what I mean? He's not going to win all those battles internally. I don't, you know what I mean? Obviously, Xbox still does scummy stuff. From the console side of gaming, there's always a scummy amount of things that go on. I believe that. I see it nonstop. And but Xbox has done much better with certain things than the other side of the console market has. They've continued to, push for more backwards compatibility. They release their games, proprietary games, day one on their subscription service, which Sony has said they'll never do. There's certain things that I think that they do a better job than some of the other console players do, and I think a big part of it's Phil Spencer. They still do crappy stuff, like expansion storage that costs 3 times what it actually should. You know, like if you took that same amount of storage, solid state drive wise, and were to put it into a PC, you know, it would cost a quarter to a third of what it costs to get expansion storage on an Xbox. That's disgusting. You know, that kind of crap shouldn't happen. That's just part of these console players, these console manufacturers and you know, developers being really, really gross with what they can do to people that they have locked into their platform. That's disgusting, you know. But I do see them being better, and I do see Phil Spencer being part of it. So I don't think it's just a matter of having somebody that can be the face of, hey, I'm a gamer. They actually, I think, have to have that, like, notion behind them that shows that they're involved in trying to be a part of that business that elevates and has a focus on trying to get things done for their player base, for the gamers that are part of their platform, you know. And I think Phil Spencer's done that. He's very vocal, you know. He's very transparent about stuff. And I think that, you know, it can't just be somebody up there that goes, yo, I'm a gamer. You know, they have to show that they know what they're doing, and they have to actually show that they're trying to get things done for their fan base too, you know. I think that's a big part of it. But I do desperately think that Sony and Nintendo both need somebody like him. Absolutely. What? So 2000 series owners of GTX G4 NVIDIA cards can now enjoy a spot of deep learning enhanced video playback. The 2000 series cards are bangers, by the way. They really are. Harebrained Schemes is independent again? What? Paradox parts ways with studio less than a week after confirming major layoffs earlier this year. Okay. Yeah, this is a weird thing to me too. If you guys haven't been paying attention to the whole Epic Games, I'm gonna have a new article about Epic Games up today, later on today on the YouTube channel actually. So you'll be able to take a look at that. There's gonna be a lot of content from the past like week that'll be public today on YouTube, by the way. So this whole issue with Epic, man, they're looking terrible right now. Lots of bad stuff going on at Epic, from firing roughly 850 people to, you know, screwing up their acquisition of Bandcamp, to firing more people out of Bandcamp before they sold it, to going along with the firings was basically ruining the developer Mediatonic, it sounds like, that does Fall Guys. They've also been making changes, forcing Psyonix to make changes to Rocket League that have been a long-standing part of that community and that game, which is in-game player-to-player trading. And Epic is now making them remove that from the game, which is going to kill a lot of that player base. This business, dude, Epic, is they're looking really rough. And then it's like, yeah, one of their quotes is, we've been spending way more money than we earn. And then they raised the price of V-Bucks too. I think that's what they're called, right? V-Bucks for the Fortnite premium currency, right? They raised the price of that stuff too. And then, so it's like, all we've heard is, you know, we're basically, the notion they're trying to like push out to people is that they're just like leaking money like a sieve, dude. But it's like, yo, why? What happened? What happened here that has, obviously bad business decisions, if that's the case or whatever. So what's the first thing they do? Make their employees pay the price, It's a bad look, dude. The people that you've employed that have helped you get to where you're at, the first thing you do is crush them. It's a bad look. I don't have any other way to go off of to look at it other than that. They haven't been transparent with trying to show what they did to try to save those people's jobs, So what else how else do you look at it? But here's the thing. We've been spending way more money than we earn, and then Epic turns on the money hose to lure game devs. Yeah. So basically what they're doing is what they're talking about here, and we'll pull this up. They are trying to lure developers into their platform by going, exclusivity here on our platform, 6 months, you get all the profit. After that, we get like a 15% cut. But for the first 6 months of release, and they're even talking about pulling over, like, for long-term developers, pulling over all of your content, like most recent 3 games or something like that. There's a whole thing going on here. We'll talk about it, but Epic looks terrible right now. I don't even want to play games on their platform, dude. They are looking so gross to me. Would this be a surprise to anybody? PlayStation allegedly under pressure to make major gaming acquisitions. It's literally their turn now, right? It's like PlayStation's turn. Ball's in their court, if you will. So, if you've looked at, if you remember kind of the way the history of this acquisition battle has gone down, and mostly this has been about PlayStation versus Xbox, right? So, Xbox basically went out and bought ZeniMax, yeah? What was the price of the ZeniMax buyout? Was it close to 10 mil? I think. Or no. It was way more than that, right? Like 10 bill, I think. What was I think that's what it was. 10 bill. And this was around 2020, I think. Oh, it's $7.5 billion. $7.5 billion dollars. That's what it was, right? So Microsoft went out and acquired, and yeah, this was in September of 2020. So it was 7.5 billion. They acquired ZeniMax for it. And if you don't know who ZeniMax is the parent company that owns Bethesda, right? So Microsoft got Bethesda. Under Bethesda, they got because Bethesda's the parent company to other companies like Tango, right? That does Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, Hi-Fi Rush, and as well as Arcane, which their most recent was quite the flop, Redfall. But they've done a lot of other good games in the past. So they got quite a bit with that acquisition, right? Bethesda alone. Yeah, that's nothing to scoff at. We all know the Bethesda games, and that was a huge pull, especially with a lot of the games they had coming down the pipeline that were supposed to be released on PlayStation as well, that they basically kept from happening. Most recently of release would be Starfield, right? And so PlayStation basically responds by acquiring Bungie. Yeah. For roughly $4 billion. 4 to 5 billion, I think, is what it was. I think it was closer to 4, if I remember correctly. But that was PlayStation's response. Sony and PlayStation's response was to buy Bungie. And that's a good acquisition, especially with PlayStation wanting to play more into the live service sphere of game development and get more of the live service stuff going on their platform. Bungie's very good at that stuff, obviously, with Destiny, and they've got other games coming down the pipeline as well. So now, obviously, Xbox stepped up their acquisition game with, this new $69 billion pull in of Activision Blizzard. So now everybody's going to be looking to see how PlayStation responds, basically. Yeah. What is PlayStation going to do to respond for what Microsoft has done here? It's going to be hard to play into an acquisition that is anywhere close to what, Microsoft just did. Activision Blizzard's, that's a massive, massive acquisition. I don't know that PlayStation will be able to, come quite as close on. And I'm not. Let's not even talk about money wise, like what it would cost, But I mean, just portfolio wise, right? I mean, we talk portfolio wise, and we're gonna take a look at this in a little bit. With shout out to Vault there for giving me this link earlier, but is this it? No, this isn't it. This one right here. All these games they got, from that acquisition. It's going to be hard for PlayStation to find something that's going to compare to what Xbox and Microsoft just got out of that, right? And to be fair, I mean, I'll say this and be very blunt. I don't think that PlayStation could have purchased Activision Blizzard and done as much with it. Microsoft and Xbox being more of a traditional company that does better with gaming across both the console and PC sphere, Activision Blizzard fits better for them than I think it does for PlayStation. So I mean, to be real honest, I'm glad that Microsoft got Activision Blizzard over somebody like Sony and PlayStation. I think they'll do a better job with it. But it'll be interesting to see where PlayStation heads with this, and because we all know that this is the war that's being played, right? They know they have to do something big right now to try and keep competing with what Xbox and Microsoft are doing, and that's quite the hill they have to climb to compete with what Microsoft and Xbox just pulled in portfolio wise off of Activision Blizzard. It's going to be interesting. Looks like AMD is actually stripped the anti-lag plus feature out of its latest drivers. This was causing a lot of people to get banned from games like Counter-Strike 2 and everything. Apparently they need to fix some stuff in those drivers before they push it back out. So just know the latest drive, there might be some new drivers out for AMD now that have stripped the anti-lag plus feature out. You can go grab those now, it looks like. It was causing a lot of issues for players and developers. We've got the Microsoft's adaptive gaming stuff up in another article. We'll look at that. Zotac's new mini PC. Let's see what this is. Post Malone seems like a really, really good dude. Everything I see about this guy, he seems like just the most genuine, down-to-earth, solid dude ever. Like, Jesus Christ. He just seems like an absolute flippin' sweetheart of a dude. You know what I mean? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Like, I just want to hang out with this guy for a little bit. You know what I mean? He just seems like like the chillest of bros, dude. No way. After 3 years, the world record speedrun for arguably the hardest boss in gaming history has finally been shattered. What? Mike Tyson's Punch Out, dude. Okay, here you go. Okay. Okay. Yo, this is kind of funny. So the other day in the news, we read about the new Intel processors coming out, right? So the new Intel processors, but what we were, Intel, obviously, this is what these manufacturers do. These manufacturers, and what we had seen in this article was that basically Intel hadn't really done much to improve their new line of processors over the previous generation of processors. But Intel was trying to promote these as being like the AMD, bettering AMD's current gen processors. And I was like, how? It doesn't make sense. Because AMD continues to push out really, they keep evolving the technology, especially with their most recent X3D processors. The gaming on the Ryzen X3Ds, which the big technology leap for those are, the level 3 cache memory on these dies, on these chips are astronomical. They've like increased triple to fourfold, and it's increased gaming efficiency and processing by a lot. And of course, Intel is coming out and trying to promote their new chips as being better. And I was like, well, we'll see. We need benchmarks. We need to see independent benchmarking happen. I'll believe it when I see it. Well, apparently Tom's Hardware has now done it, and guess who's still on top? All right, and we'll take a quick peek at it, but it's always funny to me how these manufacturers want to try and tell you that theirs is going to be better, but that's why I try to always tell everybody, let's just wait until we get some independent benchmarking from some sites that will really tell us the full story of how these new pieces of technology are performing, right? Because the manufacturers are always going to, be blowing steam up your ass. They're blowing smoke, dude. They're trying to fill you full of crap. And they're never going to tell you that they're not doing as well as the other company. But it's stupid to me that they try to tell you that they're doing better when they in fact aren't. They should be like fined for those kinds of statements. They should be fined for those kinds of statements, dude. That's not fair. You shouldn't be able to do that kind of stuff. To state that your hardware, your technology is actually a better performing piece of technology than another company is pushing out when it in fact is not. Dude, that's false advertisement. You shouldn't be able to do that. Oh, yo. Let's talk about this real quick. There's a weird situation right now. I'm going to have an article up a little bit later on YouTube about City Skylines 2. My recommendation is stay away from it. There's a Colossal Games, I think, is the name of the developer behind City Skylines 2. Look, they've come out and told everybody basically, our game's not finished. They've been quoted as telling everybody that the game's not finished, but they're releasing it anyways. In no fewer words than that. That's basically what they've told everybody. City Skylines 2, our current game, is about to release. It's hinder your expectations because there's still a lot of issues. And my response is, why are you releasing it? If it's not ready, if it's not finished, why are you releasing your game if it's not finished? Disgusting. There's no reason that should be happening. And my advice to anybody is, don't pay for this game right now. If the developer themselves, and look, I will give them at least a little bit of some props for coming out and telling people in the first place that their game is having issues. It's not in the state that they expected it to be in for release and everything. But if that's the case, there's no reason for a developer to be pushing a game out if it's not finished. We're not talking about a few unforeseen bugs and glitches and things like that to be patched. They literally came out and said, basically, the game's not finished. It's going to be rough on release. Expect the game to be rough on release. And they wouldn't give a reason as to why they were releasing it anyways. So, anybody that's excited about City Skylines 2, you might want to hinder those expectations. And I highly recommend not buying this game. But apparently it is coming to Game Pass. So if you have a subscription, you can try it out there. That would be my recommendation. Don't pay full price for this game. That's a terrible thing to see from a developer. And this is one of the biggest issues in the industry nowadays, in my opinion. These developers feel like it's okay to release unfinished games because they can just finish it afterwards. That's not okay. That's not the way this should work. What that is actually saying is that they're okay with schemazzing customers. That's what it comes down to. Rather than bite the bullet themselves, they're going to keep pushing the game out unfinished and scam money off of consumers who expect the game to be good and finished. That's what it comes down to. That's not acceptable. So that developer can get wrecked. It shouldn't be released. People want to talk about, well, yeah, they probably got contracts and they've got to release it. I don't care. The publisher's probably pushing them, and things like that. Okay, whatever. I don't give a crap. I don't care, dude. It doesn't matter to me. If the game's not ready, it shouldn't come out. That's all there is to it. Ridiculous number of Xbox games are discounted by 90% this week. Let's see what we got here. Yo, this Plucky Squire game looks amazing. It looks really, really cool. I want to play it. Plucky Squire, dude. Yeah, have you not seen this game? Yeah, this game looks dope, dude. Check this out. I'll just show it real quick. The Plucky Squire, dude. It's like it got a 2D into 3D kind of... Yeah, this game looks sick, dude. It's a Devolver game, by the way. Like my favorite publisher, dude. I love Devolver. Check this out, dude. It's releasing sometime next year. It's a very got a very unique kind of looking style of gameplay and artwork and stuff.
And Pip. Our heroes protect the land from the villainous sorcerer Humgrump. They adventure to the edges of their realm and
check it. Boom, dude. Devolver puts out bangers. I agree, dude. Oh yeah, their showcases are great too. Yeah. The last one they did, they were memeing on the industry for all the AI crap. It wasn't their usual. They just memed so hard on the industry, dude. They didn't care. They're like, whatever.
If they are to save their beloved land from his diabolical designs.
Look at this, dude. It looks awesome.
And into adventure.
That looks very, very unique. And I'm going back to where. Wait, what? No, you're not. What's up, Pinky? Yeah, this game looks dope. I'll link it for you. Yo, somebody else has this on their wish list. Who is that? Yeah. It's not something like it's not. Whenever I first saw the trailer, I was like, probably not. And I was like, this is from Devolver. And then I kept watching and saw all, how unique it looked. And I was like, oh, that's pretty dope, dude. I'll probably try this out. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking, dude. Yeah, but it looks pretty cool. We talked about this. Yeah, like I said, Epic's gross, dude. They basically laid off half of the Bandcamp staff before they sold the company to Songtrader. Yep. Lords of the Fallen's latest patch promises substantial performance improvements for struggling GPUs. Take a quick peek. We've talked about that already too. And let's go look at our other search. Let's see if we've got anything else we haven't seen yet. Oh god, dude. Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch. Yo, just be prepared for that to not be very good. If it does end up being decent, then cool. Good for you. But just, dude, that's not one of those kinds of games that transfers over to the Switch's very old, very underpowered hardware very well. Okay? So just do yourselves a favor. Hinder your expectations greatly for what something like Hogwarts Legacy would be like on the Switch compared to other platforms, okay? But to be fair, it was balls on PC in the first place anyways. So, I don't know. Looks like Phil Spencer's actually saying no more exclusive Call of Duty skins or timed content. Microsoft's promise for 100% parity across platforms. There you go, Vault. Yeah. Look, a lot of people loved Hogwarts Legacy, and I was enjoying the content, but God, the performance of that game was so bad on PC, dude. I couldn't stand it anymore. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was one of those games I think played very well on console, and across PC, it was just so poorly optimized. And it was one of those games you could tell it was quite obviously developed for console. Everything about the game screamed console. The way the menus were set up, nothing was developed for keyboard and mouse. It was just everything screamed console. It was just, and some people, this is one of those telltale signs for PC optimization. You can tell a developer just didn't do their job right, where a PC game, will come out and some people can play it fine. Other people have issues slogging through it, and some people can't play it at all. And it's weird to me because you get these people that don't actually understand the way that works, and they go, well, it played fine. It was fine. It was like, well, you were one of the lucky people, but if you look at the entire release of that game across PC and how many people had issues, you would understand that because it played okay for you on a 2000 series graphics card, but somebody couldn't even start it on a 4000 series graphics card tells you, and it's not just a graphics card issue, you know what I mean? It's the combination of different kinds of RAM and CPUs and graphics card. people tend to just focus on graphics cards. That's not it. That's the primary, tends to be a primary focus of optimization issues. But there's a lot of other hardware that goes into play, right? So I just get so tired of people being so narrow-minded when it comes to, it's just, well, my experience was fine. It's like, well, you don't understand the way that, PC gaming works, I guess, It's weird. Dead Space Remake's hitting Game Pass. Take a quick peek. That should be cool. Excuse me. Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit. Man. Whatever. Yeah. Diablo 4 Season 2 start time delayed due to technical issues, probably dealing with a Blizzard not knowing how to do math. Bro. Oh, yo, that's another one. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, exactly, Pinky. Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's perfect, bro. Yeah, exactly. Yo, I've got my my reaction vid to the whole Diablo 4 Season 2 trailer stuff. The reaction to that's going to be up on YouTube later today too, man. So, bro, that was funny to watch. That was really funny. Is this Analog CEO saying this? Wait, where did that go? Yeah, look, dude, the Analog makes really good hardware to play retro games on and stuff, like retro cartridges and things like that. Dude, Analog's a really good piece of hardware, I think, and I've been promoting their like Analog Pocket for a long time as a solid piece of hardware to play retro handheld gaming cartridges all across the Game Boy systems. They even have like adapters that allow you to play like Neo Geo, Game Gear cartridges, stuff like that. It's a dope little machine, dude. And now they're coming out with the Analog 3D, which is for like a 4K resolution way of playing Nintendo 64 cartridges and stuff like that. It looks really cool. We touched on it in the last news segment we did. It's very neat looking, man. Check it out. It's cool. PS5 Slim's release date and Spider-Man 2 bundle have seemingly leaked. Okay, we'll take a quick peek at this. Why do I have something in here from 2019 when my dates are set for the past 2 days? What's that about? Bro, New World, open world MMO PC game. Dog from December 12th of 2019. What? Bro, my Google search is set for Tuesday through today. What? All right, whatever. We've already talked about that. Apparently, PlayStation is working on a new acquisition. Apparently, it is not Rockstar. And as soon as we find out who it is, we'll discuss it. We've already got this up. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, I think the new one's called New World. But I've heard it's probably going to have some economy issues. New World. Yeah. What is this, dude? UE5 horror being called the most realistic game ever. What is this? Lost Fragment. Okay, we'll take a look at this. Lots of news today. Yo, Liza P has sold 1 million units now, dude. Good for them. Good for them, dude. Liza P is supposed to be very good, man. Pinky, dog, we're not that far away from getting Baldur's Gate 3 going, dog. Yeah, we looked at it 2 days ago in the news. Yeah, I don't need to hit on it anymore. It's amazing. I know. Bro, I was dying. We pulled it up on Tuesday in the news, and the still image they had of King Kong, bro, I was rolling. It was too funny, dude. It was too funny. It just, and we even watched like gameplay. It was so flipping bad, dude. The crabs were like sliding all over the place. The crabs were like sliding. They weren't even walking. They were just like gliding across the ground like they were like skating. Bro, the game looked so bad. Oh my god. But they were charging like $50 for the game or something. God dang, dude. It's so stupid bad. I don't know, man. This is the world we live in, dude. Alright, let's get into these. Oh my god. I was rolling, bro. I was rolling. It looks so bad, dude. It looks so bad. I was like, how are they selling this game for $50, dude? Let me refresh the copy. Like 1 minute, dude, and we'll hit all these articles. All right, let's go. So, PS5 Slim's release date and Spider-Man 2 bundle have seemingly leaked. Sony will reportedly launch the new console in early November, just in time for the holiday season. That makes sense. So, new details about the PS5 Slim release date and the Spider-Man bundle have been uncovered. Company recently announced that it will launch a smaller PS5 model in November. Before rolling it out to other regions. In the US before rolling it out to other regions in the following months. Like the launch model of the new PS5 will be available in the form of a standard edition featuring a disc drive and a digital edition without one. According to the highly reliable data miner Bill Kuhn, Sony is planning to release a PS5 Slim standard edition console bundled with Marvel Spider-Man 2 on November 8th in the US. It will reportedly cost $560 US, which is the same price as the current PS5 model, bundled with the upcoming game, which will be released tomorrow. Somewhat confusingly, Bill Kuhn's report also lists the PS5 Slim standard and digital release date as November 10th in the US. Yeah, so there's some conflicting information here. It looks like there's going to be somewhere probably between like November. Look for something somewhere between November 8th and the 10th for this to probably drop. There's some weird information, conflicting information there. So the recommended retail prices for the new PS5 model are as follows. PS5 with the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive, 500 US, 550 euros, 480 pounds. PS5 digital edition, 450 US, 450 euros, and 390 pounds. This represents a $50 increase in the price for the digital edition in the US. Both editions, which come with a 1 terabyte storage, will also be more expensive than the launch models in Japan. Unlike the current model, those who purchase the new PS5 digital edition will be able to add a Blu-ray disc drive later, as one will be sold separately for 80 US, 120 euros, or 100 pounds. The new PS5 Slim also is apparently going to require a $30 stand if users want to position the console upright. You broke out of bounds. Wait, what? Talos Principal demo is epic, is it? You broke out of bounds on both maps? Got into 4 demo lock puzzles? Nice, dude. Nice. Sick, dude. Awesome. That's great, man. All right, well, that's what to expect from the new PS5 coming. Unreal Engine 5 Horror being called the most realistic game ever. In this day and age, the lines between video games and reality are increasingly becoming blurred as technology and software continue to advance at rapid rates. In recent months, Unreal Engine 5 gameplay was making the social media rounds, which showcased a shooter with unparalleled visuals, which had to be seen to be believed. To put it bluntly, this body cam footage looked like it was taken straight from a tactical police officer, yet it was from an upcoming game called Unrecord, developed by indie studio Drama, coming to PC in the near future. Yeah. Now it seems that other titles inspired by other body cam, we know about Unrecord, right? But that's not what this is talking about. Now it seems that other titles inspired by other body cam games are on the way, and to be honest, as incredible as this recent footage looks, this horror game looks a bit more on the nose. Kind of reminds me of the PT clones post 2014. However, what perhaps sets this other body cam footage game apart from Unrecord is that it will be a survival horror shooter. Other than giving me major Unrecord vibes, it also appeared to have a hint of the legendary Fear. Nice. Lost Fragment. Regardless of its similarities to Unrecord, this early gameplay footage of Lost Fragment is set in a creepy hospital, looks incredible, but we won't know whether it plays as well as it looks until it is eventually released. Having an impressive trailer go viral is one thing, but that is soon followed by lofty expectations from the video game community. Yeah, let's look at this. PC was crying. Oh, yeah. Probably because of the out of bounds. Yeah, it just wasn't optimized for people to be over there or something, probably. Lost Fragments, huh? This is not it, dude. Hold up. It's just Lost Fragment. This is not on Steam right now. Hold on. All right, let's just take a peek at this real quick. Jesus Christ, dude. Look at this Unreal Engine 5 crap, dog. This is the thing I was talking about with Unrecord, though. You see this camera bob stuff? This is gonna drive people crazy, dude. It absolutely adds to the realism and the immersion of what you're doing. Dude, there are a lot of people that do not like the head bob stuff, and it's gonna maul them out. And probably give them a little bit of vertigo, too. Yo, that looks insanely good. Holy crap. Hold on, that's not it. What do we got? Something scary. Oh, what is that, dude? Stalker 2? Jesus. Alright. Alright. Interesting, dude. One second. Sorry, I had to talk to the kiddos real quick. All right, let's go. New Xbox Game Pass titles for console, PC, and cloud include Dead Space Remake, plus Like a Dragon Ishin, F1 Manager 2023, and City Skylines 2. We'll talk about that again. Microsoft has revealed the next wave of titles coming to Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and Xbox Cloud gaming. Like a Dragon Ishin joins the service today ahead of F1 Manager 2023 on October 19th and City Skylines 2 on October 24th. So, be aware. I've actually got an article that will be hitting YouTube later today calling out the developer here. Colossal Games, I think. Is that who it is? Colossal Order. And Paradox is the publisher. But understand, they have been basically at least transparent enough to say that the game is not finished, but they're releasing it anyways. That's still unacceptable. It's better than not telling people ahead of time, but there are going to be an amount of people that still buy into this game that didn't hear that announcement. Ultimately, if the game's not finished, it shouldn't be released. That's the way this should go. But they're doing it anyways. They had already delayed it on one platform. I can't remember what it was. And I think it was on the actual Xbox console. And they're still releasing it for PC. And now they're coming out and saying that the City Skylines 2 PC version is not quite finished either. But they're going to go ahead and push it out, which is gross. Shouldn't happen like that. I definitely recommend nobody be paying for this game up front as a retail purchase. But if you're still interested in playing this on release, then maybe Game Pass is your play. Yeah, but hinder expectations here. This game shouldn't be releasing right now. The entire article that I have addressing this situation with Colossal Order will be up on YouTube later today. They'll be followed by Frog Detective, The Entire Mystery, Miniko's Night Market, and Dead Space on October 26th. Dead Space Remake is available as part of EA Play, which is included with Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass, but not with Game Pass Core. And EA Sports UFC 5 Early Access Trial will also be made available on October 24th as part of EA Play. The following titles will leave Game Pass on October 31st. Gunfire Reborn, Kill It With Fire, Persona 5 Royal, The Legend of Tianding Signalis, and Solasta, Crown of the Magister. All right. If you need more, or those lists or whatever, there you go. Diablo 4, a Season 2 start time delayed due to technical issues having to do with Blizzard not being able to do basic math. Too soon? Season of Blood is now live and the game has been released on Steam now. There's the update right there. Blizzard did delay the Season 2 start time by several hours after running into complications with its release. Season of Blood had been set to begin on the 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. BST, and 7 p.m. CST. Quote, we have encountered some technical issues with our current build and will be delaying Season of Blood start time by a few hours to remedy these issues. Once we have more information, update you right away. Apologize for the inconvenience and appreciate your feedback you have provided and your patience. It is now live. Game has been released on Steam. This was as of 8:55 p.m. on the 17th. So, yeah, and the launch of D4's new season coincided with the game's planned release for on Steam on the 17th as well, which it is. I've seen it. It is on Steam, dude. I wonder what the reviews are for it right now. It was part of their main promotion stuff up here. I'm not seeing it anymore here. Mixed, bro. So we now have 2 Blizzard games that have hit Steam recently. Overwatch 2, which is at about 200,000 reviews all time at a 10% positive. That's a 1 out of 10. And now we have Diablo 4 that is at a 5 out of 10 of over 1,000 reviews in 2 days of being on the platform. Looking good for Blizzard. Yeah. Microsoft has their hands full, man. They've got a lot of work to do. Let's see. Zotac's new mini PC will hopefully usher in a new era of device cooling. The Airjet. Devices with fanless cooling are nothing new. However, passive cooling is generally restricted to low-power devices, while those with higher thermal design power, a gaming PC, require much larger heat sinks. But there's a promising new technology that's making its way to the market, combining the best of both worlds. This cooling system generates airflow without the need for fans. Zotac has just released its Z-Box Pico PI430AJ mini PC. I recall seeing it at a Computex in late May. It is otherwise mostly unremarkable mini PC with a Core i3 N300 processor, 8 gigs of DDR5 memory, NVMe solid-state drive support, and Zotac's typically good complement of connectivity options. Oh, and it's just 0.21 liters in size, which isn't much larger than an external solid-state drive, but it's the cooling system that sets it apart. It's the first mini PC to feature solid-state active cooling. It incorporates a technology developed by F-Roar Systems called Airjet. It's a module that sits on top of the processor. It features tiny membranes that vibrate at ultrasonic frequencies, which produces pulsating jets of airflow. What? Basically an active cooler without the fans. Sick. I haven't seen this. A single Airjet module can dissipate 5 watts of heat. That's not a lot, but vendors can scale that up by adding more than one module. This technology delivers some obvious benefits. Bye-bye fans. They can get very noisy in ultra-thin devices, and they are particularly susceptible to failures. Also, the Airjet module is very thin at just 2.8 millimeters thick, while weighing only 9 grams. That makes it ideally suited to thin and light devices. CPU cooling isn't Airjet's only potential application. Alongside all manner of devices, including handheld cameras, IoT, and networking, well suited to NVMe solid-state drive cooling, which to me is particularly interesting. F-Roar Systems demonstrated a Phison PCIe 5.0 solid-state drive with Airjet modules at the Flash Memory Summit earlier this year. Anything that helps to tame the scary heat and resulting throttling of high-performance solid-state drives, particularly in laptops, is very welcome. Interesting. The potential is there to scale the technology, F-Roar says. 4 Airjet minis can cool a 20-watt processor. This is enough for more than a few laptop chips. The dream is to see solid-state cooling scale up to chips around the 45 to 65-watt range, which is what you'll find in the realm of high-performance laptops. Burst power modes accepted. Should that happen, we really would be looking at a new era of cooling. It'll be a while before we can ditch the fans on our PC gaming. Our gaming PCs, though. Yeah, it's a lot of watts that are still being used in high performance gaming PCs. But this is interesting, man. If you need something out of that, I hadn't even heard of this F-Roar stuff yet. Um, Wild. Oh, of course. Look who they have on here. Uh, hmm. Okay, if you want to know more about the F-Roar systems and their airjet stuff, you can take a look at this as well. That's pretty neat, man. Technology advancements, baby. Gonna be that's a big deal for gaming right there too. Um, Check this noise out. After 3 years, the world record speedrun for arguably the hardest boss in gaming history has finally been shattered. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, one of the most legendary challenges on the NES. Yeah. Games back then were always hard anyways, you know? Games back in these days were traditionally very difficult all the way around. So you get a lot of games back then that were just hard, man. A lot of gamers that grew up back in these days, you know, you just were accustomed to playing difficult games, man. They were hard. One of the biggest names in speedrunning has just beaten a 3-year-old record for defeating the titular final boss in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, one of the most legendary challenges in gaming history. I just beat Mike Tyson faster than anyone has before. That's like 2 flat minutes. Beating a world record that stood for over 3 years. Summoning Salt wrote on Twitter, I put tens of thousands of attempts into lowering this time. Finally paid off last night. In fact, in the description of the full video of the run, Summoning Salt says the record took something like 20,000 plus attempts. That's some darn impressive dedication. Yo, we got to watch this, right? We got to watch this. This might, before I play this, this is somebody else's content. It could potentially get a strike on YouTube when I upload this for the news segment, and I might have to get cut out or something. We'll see, okay? Mike's looking good. Oh, I gotta get my music off. Sorry, guys. Oh, it was off. My bad. Thought I was hearing it. Mike Tyson's so intimidating, dude.
Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? I Oh my god. It's been so long.
Bro, could you imagine running that like 20,000 times? 20,000 times, dude. God damn. The dedication, bro, to like breaking records like that. Jesus. If you're at all familiar with speedrunning, that's crazy, dog. Yeah, I agree. I remember playing, dude. I remember like playing a little bit of this when I was really young, and like watching some cousins play this game and just get wrecked, dude. Get wrecked by this game. If you're at all familiar with speedrunning, you've probably heard the name Summoning Salt before. After all, his YouTube videos offer some of the most definitive explanations of speedrunning history you can find on the internet. As you might expect, he does a fair bit of speedrunning across a variety of games, but he's downright dominant in Punch-Out. holding number of records in standard categories as well as, more extreme rule sets like the Tyson Challenge, where you attempt to beat Mike Tyson 14 times in a row without losing a single fight. Summoning Salt has held the single fight record against Tyson since 2017. He set his long-standing record of 2 minutes and 97 milliseconds back in 2020, and now, 3 years later, that record has finally been broken. Behind him, it's a four-way tie for second place with a number of others having set 2 minute, 5 second, and 25 millisecond times, but nobody's been able to touch Summoning Salt's sub 205 record. Mike Tyson is one of the most legendary challenges in gaming history. It's impossible to objectively quantify just how tough a particular boss is compared to any other, but in subjective anecdotal terms, I can tell you I beat Mike Tyson after 104 attempts when I finally conquered Punch-Out last year. I can tell you for darn sure that I didn't do it with a 2 minute, 61 millisecond time, though. That's interesting. That's pretty neat, dude. Gotta love it. That's some dedication right there. That's very cool. Congrats to Summoning Salt, man. Congrats. That's very, very cool. Okay, so again, when I talked about this whenever I brought this article up initially, on Tuesday, because we were off yesterday, on Tuesday we came across an article that was basically talking about how Intel's new processor lineup was basically almost just a copy of their previous processor releases. There's a little bit of a difference, but not much. Yet Intel was talking about how they were going to be the new AMD killers, basically, and I was like, well, we'll see about that, But we needed to wait until we got some like independent benchmarking going on to see how these new Intel processors would do, standing up to like the Ryzen X3D processors and stuff. But it looks like we have it here, and they are not. It looks like the X3Ds are still on top of even the new Intel processors. So let's take a look. Mid-range gaming has a new champion, though, it looks like. Intel's 14th generation Core Raptor Lake Refresh series debuts with 3 top-end overclockable models. The 6 gigahertz, $590 Core i9 14900K, the $410 Core i7 14700K, and the $320 Core i5 1600K. Facing off with AMD's Zen 4 Ryzen 7000 lineup, Intel's 6 gigahertz 14900K marks a new high clock rate for a standard chip, but it's actually Intel's second chip to reach that high watermark. The pricey $700 special edition Core i9 13900KS also pegged the needle at 6 gigahertz, but this time around that level of performance costs about $100 less. We can actually thank AMD for bringing all these prices down, as AMD has kind of leapfrogged Intel performance-wise, but has still maintained a decent price, which has resulted in Intel having to kind of reduce prices as well. Intel kept the pricing for its 3 new 14th gen models the same as the prior generation to fend off AMD's Ryzen 7000 X3D models that currently dominate our list of best CPUs for gaming, and the company even claims its fastest chip outperforms AMD's finest in gaming. That's what they were saying. See, we read this the other day. Intel claims its fastest chip outperforms AMD's finest in gaming. Our benchmarks tell a far different story, at least with our selection of games. Still, Intel's Raptor Lake Refresh offers a balanced blend of gaming and productivity performance that should continue to give AMD stiff competition until the Zen 5 Ryzen 8000 lineup arrives. This is basically the stats you need to know about the new Intel chips, okay? As the codename implies, Intel's newest chips are refreshed versions of the 13th gen Raptor Lake processors that debuted roughly a year ago. While Intel's refresh generation doesn't provide the big gen-on-gen leaps we would typically see with new core microarchitectures, there are no IPC gains because the chips use the same underlying design as their Raptor Lake predecessors. Intel did optimize its chips to make them more attractive. Let's get to this. We already talked the other day about what the differences is between the 14th gen chips and the 13th gen chips, so I'm not going to dive into that. I'll link this. You guys can take a look at that too. You can also look at price comparisons here for all the Intel and Ryzen AMD stuff. Let's just look at these benchmarks. So, productivity benchmarks on Intel. Multi-threaded performance ranking, Windows 11. You still have the Ryzen 9 7950X topping out at a 624, beating the 14900K. Then after the 14900K is the 13900K. And then the Ryzen 9 7950X3D. You also need to take a look at what the prices are here of these. So the price versus performance, right? Don't forget to be taking a look at that. Single-threaded performance. Intel's traditionally been better at single-threaded than Ryzen or AMD has. But you can see the 14900K is up here, then the 13900K, and it's followed by just mostly Intel till you get down to the first AMD at about 409 rating. This is productivity, right? So productivity. Rendering benchmarks. You can see the multi-core performance, the 14900K and 13900K beat the AMD out by a little bit there, which is the 7950X. And single core performance, again, Intel is usually going to take that. Encoding benchmarks. They've got the Core i9s and then Core i7s beating the AMD 7950 and 7950X3D. Audio encoding, 13900K, just beating out the 7950X3D AMD chip. Handbrake, the Ryzen 7950 X, just beating out the 13900 and 14900K of Intel. Multi-threaded video encoding, the Intel 14900K and 13900K just beating out the Ryzen 7950X. Let's get to the gaming stuff. How about that? That's what we're here for. Are they showing all this power consumption? So compilation, compression, AI chess engines. Ryzen 9 7950X and the 7950X3D. Dude, the 7900X and the 7900X3D beat out the 13900, 14900, and 14700K Intel. Single thread, Intel still up there with the 13900K, but a lot of AMD right below that. There's a lot to look into here. Conclusion, let's get here. The 14th gen Raptor Lake refresh and processors provide slim upgrades over their 13th gen models. Below we have the geometric mean of our gaming test suite at 1080p and 1440p at a cumulative measure of performance in single and multi-threaded applications. Conducted our gaming test with an NVIDIA RTX 4090, so performance deltas will shrink with lesser cards and higher resolution and fidelity settings. So average FPS, entire test suite at 1080p on a Windows 11 computer with a 4090. Remember, 4090, so fully high def, just a 1080p, running at 1080p. So the X3D, 7800 X3D, 7950 X3D, 7900 X3D, and then you get your Intel Core i9 14900K. No game today. Then the 2K resolution 1440p, about the same thing. Still got the X3D processor up there crushing it. Multi-threaded performance, it's a lot closer when you get to that. Multi-threaded performance, you've got the 7950X, then the 14900K, 13900K, and then the 7950X 3D. Single threaded's always Intel, dude. It's in the title, dude. I know. I've been telling everybody that I wasn't gaming today, so I've got family stuff going on today and this weekend. Tomorrow will be stream. I don't know what game we're playing. So here's what happened. If anybody's not aware, InSound Mine was basically crashing a lot. We got through 3 days of InSound Mine, and we had like 4 crashes of 3 days of gameplay, 4 to 5. I tried to play it on the 4th day. It crashed right away. And every time it crashes all my software, dude. So InSound Mine was a cool game. I was having a lot of fun with it. But, dude, that game crushes a ton of other software with it. I don't know why. I looked up stuff online. Apparently, that is a game that has had issues like that for a lot of other people, too. It feels terrible. I enjoyed the content a lot. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Maybe, dude. I just need to take a look. I don't know. Yesterday was stupid busy for me. Today's going to be really busy as well. But I'll let everybody know tonight on Discord. Yeah. So quite possibly, dude. Quite possibly. Yeah. So that's what I was telling everybody at the beginning of the stream today was it'll either be because when we get back, it'll be close to time to start doing some Alan Wake stuff, right? So Monday will be the 23rd. Alan Wake 2 comes out on the 27th. And I think I'm only going to need a couple to a few days to do Alan Wake 1. It shouldn't take too long to get through that. So if anything, we can do 2 games for like 1 stream each for Friday and Monday. Or we can just do 1 game for 1 stream on Friday and then start Alan Wake on Monday and see how it goes. We might have a little bit of time to fill in between Alan Wake 1 and then Alan Wake 2. I don't know. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Or we could do a game that takes a couple of days before we start Alan Wake 1. Then we got some choices. I'll take a look, and we'll figure it out. I just need to see what I want to get in there, you know. Yeah, I knew that Alan Wake 1 doesn't take very long. Thanks, buddy. We've looked at it before. It's probably only going to take like a couple days to a few days, just depending on, because I play slow, you know. I play slow, so I was kind of figuring it would take, I was going to give myself about 4 days just to be safe. And if it'd probably be better to just start it on Monday. So I'll probably just play a game. Thanks, Vault. I appreciate it, buddy. I'll probably just play a game that takes 1 day tomorrow. But I'll let you guys know what it is. But yeah, I've been announcing that for a while, that today would only be the news and Saturday and Sunday are down days. I've been announcing that since the beginning of the month. So sorry. So it's this way every single year. This time period, there's family stuff every year, and this is always time off. So, and then obviously at the end of next month is our Thanksgiving here in the U.S. There'll be time off for that, and then at the end of December will be holiday time, so there will be a little bit of time off for that too. So, just trying to get people prepared. You know, I don't like taking time off. I always feel bad because I like hanging out with you guys, and I like being here and being consistent with the schedule and stuff. So it always feels bad to me to take time off, but there is an amount of it that is appropriate because it's focusing on family, and that's what this is. Today and this weekend, the Saturday, Sunday stuff, it's family stuff, dude, is what it is. And so it's important, and it's, you know, needed. So I hope everybody just understands. So I think this is what the gist of what people need to understand. You can take a look at all these benchmarks. Shout out to Tom's Hardware for doing the benchmarking Lord's work here. for getting us the information we need to understand about what's going on with the new Intel processors. Look, I think that what you're going to have there's going to be a lot of what we always know with people is you've got the Intel crew and you've got the AMD crew and there's always that war between which one's better for those people. But ultimately, it doesn't look like you can really go wrong with either one. It's nice to see the competition really be leveled out nowadays, in my opinion. That sad face. Yeah, no, dude, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yo, random mode time. Let's go. I think that good competition's good for all of us. Yo, let's go, dude. Why am I crying about that? I think that for the longest time, Intel was always Ryu, dude. Nice vault. For the longest time, Intel was always just sitting up there above AMD as the high performance chip. It always cost more. AMD was more bang for your buck. The budget guys, or the budget person's CPU, but nowadays they're much more leveled out, and that competition's good. It's always they're trying to trump each other with a better performing piece of technology and at a lower price point than the other one, and that's good for us as the consumer and as gamers. So, but there, the links there, man. If you want to take a look at everything that is being compared here with the AMD and new Intel chips, man, it's there for you. A ridiculous number of Xbox games are discounted by 90% this week. What do we got here? They're going to be picking some of these out. Over 50 of these in all, including the likes of Alice Madness Returns, Injustice 2, Lost in Random, and Need for Speed Heat. Don't forget some of these EA titles are already included as part of Xbox Game Pass. These are some of their top picks and not the entire list, so understand that. You can see here, man, real low prices, 90% off discounts. What can I pull out here? There's Lost in Random. Alice Madness Returns, for sure. But there's going to be a lot other. I mean, there were Star Wars Squadrons. There's going to be a lot even outside of just this. Games reduced by 85%. There's a ton here. Oh, look, but the Arkham Knight Premium Edition, and yo, you guys have been wanting to get in on that Anthem gameplay. There you go, dude. Borderlands 3. All these games right here are reduced by 85%. Borderlands 3, Code Vein, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Far Cry 5. Immortals Phoenix Rising, Injustice, Gods Among Us, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, plus Injustice 2 Legendary Edition Bundle, Shenmue 1 and 2, Skate 3, Tekken 7, Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition. Yo, Titanfall 2 is a banger, dude. Okay, you guys know me. I'm not a big fan of EA, but I had heard great things. I do like Apex Legends. I like Apex. I think it's a fun game. And I knew that for a long time, I've known that Apex came out of the Titanfall universe. And here recently, Titanfall went on sale for about $3 around the same time that they had announced they got the multiplayer servers back up and running real nicely for Titanfall 2. So I was like, you know what? My son digs first-person shooters. My wife has been wanting to get into some first-person shooting stuff. And I was like, dude, they got the multiplayer stuff back up. Let's try some Titanfall 2 out. I never played it initially. So I bought us also some copies of Titanfall 2. It is so much. And I love mech games too. I love flipping mech games. Bro, Titanfall 2 is a lot of fun. It is a lot of flipping fun, dude. I'm actually probably going to be playing some more tonight with my son. He's loving it. I'm loving it, dude. It's a lot of fun, dude. This game is a banger. Games reduced by 80%. Back for Blood. The Arkham Collection, nice. Bioshock Collection. Golf with your friends, let's go. The Metro Saga Bundle, oh yeah. Mortal Kombat 11, Plants vs. Zombies, some RE games. Mid-Sires. Oh, Jesus, dude. Sid Meier's Civilization 6, Evil Within 2, Tom Clancy games, Wasteland 3. All kinds of stuff, dude. Take a look. Lots of, oh, for real. Dude, Titanfall 2 is a lot of fun, bro. I've been loving it. It's nothing that I'll stream, I don't think. You know, I haven't even played the campaign yet. The campaign's supposed to be very good. The campaign is supposed to be very, very good. But I just basically bought it. I haven't even played the campaign. I just bought it for the multiplayer. I've just been getting in there and like, the multiplayer is a lot of fun. What's fun about it too is like being somebody that never played Titanfall at all. I played a decent amount, not a lot, but I played a little bit, you know, of Apex, and you know, being familiar with Apex and a lot of the characters and their abilities and the weapons and stuff. You get into playing Titanfall now. Like I've gotten into playing Titanfall now, and you see a lot of those abilities. You see a lot of the abilities. You see all the familiar weapons and stuff like that. It's really neat. But I love mech games, and the mech part of the Titanfall experience is fantastic, dude. It feels so good, man. I love it. It's really, really good. I highly recommend. And the multiplayer servers are nice, dude. There's a lot of people playing, and it's a lot of fun, dude. I dig it. It's really neat. So there's a bunch of deals on Xbox games. Lords of the Fallen's latest patch promises substantial performance improvements for struggling GPUs. I'll read this, and then we'll go take a look at what the ratings are right now on Steam, okay? Hexworks studio head Saul Gascon is also said he's holding a live Q&A session on Twitch tomorrow. That would probably be today. Yeah, today. The new Souls-like Lords of the Fallen got hammered pretty hard in its first few days on Steam, primarily over complaints about its dodgy performance. For some players, it's been fine, but others encountered some issues with low frame rates, stuttering, and crashes. Some people on Steam said they weren't even able to access the main menu. So, again, you know, this is one of those telltale signs that a game was developed for PC as a platform, but not optimized for PC as a platform, right? Like they tried, I don't know if it was even developed or just ported over or whatever. The thing comes down to is this was not optimized for PC. For the variety, the big variety of hardware, and I'm not saying it's easy, but games should not be released if they're not developed appropriately and optimized appropriately for any platform. And this happens constantly for PC. You see it happen all the time. Some people can play it, some people can kind of play it, other people can't play it at all. And it's because a developer does not do their job at ensuring a game is developed and optimized fully for the PC platform. Right? It's a telltale sign. It happens all the time. Xbox version was broken. Also, I believe I heard the same thing, Vault. Yep, heard the same thing. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Apex gets super sweaty, dog. Super sweaty. So in response, publisher CI Games posted some troubleshooting tips, and a handful of small patches have also rolled out. And the latest, which takes the game to version 1.1.203, developer Hexworks said it has begun to implement more substantial performance improvements aimed at freeing up VRAM to provide additional headroom for GPUs that are operating at the limit of their capabilities. The process is taking time to implement. The studio added, because we are committed to ensuring that you do not lose any quality. So they've got a live Q&A today. They've got this, here's a bunch of the stability stuff they're rolling out with the new patch. Well, there's stability, performance, boss, NPC balancing, gameplay, collisions, VFX, UI, 3D photo mode. They've got a lot of stuff they're rolling out. That's good to see. but it has had significant performance issues on release. Their Q&A session is popping off on Twitch at 7 p.m. CET. I'll link this for you guys. They've also got the twitch.tv/CI Games is where you can find that at for today. They've got the link right here. 10 a.m. Pacific, so that's noon our time. That would be noon our time. There's also something else popping off today. The Indie Horror Showcase is happening today too, if you guys want to watch that. I'll cover this in tomorrow's news segment. There's going to be a bunch of indie horror video game stuff, but if you want to watch it live, it's happening at the same exact time this showcase, this Q&A showcase is happening for them. Here's the thing. Let's take a look at the Lords of the Fallen. Yeah, it's still mixed. 57% of over 10,000 reviews at this point. That's a 5.7 out of 10, right? Even taking performance issues out of the picture here, a lot of what I've grasped from some of the reviews I've read is there's some interesting stuff in the game, but ultimately it seems like one of those games where people are either on one side or the other. There's not a whole lot of sentiment about, it's pretty good, or, it's decent, I enjoyed it, middle of the road or anything. It's like people are either like, it pretty much sucked content wise, or people are like, yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's one of those weird games like that. Saw a lot of the same stuff from Starfield or from like the Pathfinder games. There's not a lot of middle road review stuff for people, it doesn't seem like. There's either people that really enjoy it or people that really don't. It's kind of a weird thing, and I'm not talking about performance issues at all, just content wise. But there are significant performance issues, I think, here. Here's my thing. I think if you're looking for a Soulsborne-esque experience right now in a modern, recent release kind of title, you should be playing Lies of P. This is a game I think deserves to be paid for and to be played. They've already announced they've got expansion content coming our way. This is apparently a very, very good game for especially a lot of people are considering this like a Bloodborne kind of, because it's not from software, right? But a lot of people are considering this to be more of a spiritual successor to Bloodborne, because we haven't gotten anything from Bloodborne ever since. Like, when did Bloodborne release? 2014, something like that. We haven't gotten anything from the Bloodborne side of things from software, and a lot of people have seen and played this game and been like, dude, this is nice. This has given me Bloodborne vibes, and apparently it was done very, very well. So my kind of advice for people, and I followed this game through a lot of its development. I was really hopeful it would be good. I haven't played it yet because I haven't had the time. We've been involved in other games and stuff, but I do really want to play this game. And I think that if you're looking for that kind of Soulsborne experience, and I think this game is the one that deserves to be played right now. And maybe wait for Lords of the Fallen a little bit to see if it improves, and even maybe not even pay full price for Lords of the Fallen. Right now, it's not looking like a game that maybe necessarily deserves full price. It's looking like a game that might be better played on like a subscription service or something. By the way, Lies of P is on Game Pass. So if you don't have money to pay full price for this game, you can play it on a subscription service. I think this is the play. I think this is where people need to go right now if you're looking for that Soulsborne kind of experience. You know what I mean? And let Lords of the Fallen bake a little bit. It needs a little bit of time, it seems like. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's great right now either. I don't think it's good right now either for what I've seen. But Lies of P is supposed to be pretty flippin' solid. I'll link this for you, actually. There you go. And if you're interested in this Q&A session, take this. That'll get you a Q&A session for Lords of the Fallen. Also, Indie Horror Showcase is popping off today. This is what I was going to I'm not going to be live outside of the news segment today because I've got family stuff going on. This is not normal. It's, Wednesdays are the normal day off. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be live for the rest of today because I've got family stuff happening. But there's an indie video game showcase or indie horror showcase thing going on today. And you can watch this. There's links in here and everything. I will cover I'll recap and summarize this in tomorrow's video gaming news segment. But if you're interested in watching this today, then there's your link for this as well, okay? After saying we've been spending way more money than we earn, Epic turns on the money hose to lure game devs into releasing their golden oldies on the Epic Game Store. Yep, we've talked about this a little bit. Devs, Epic wants your good old games. Epic has announced a foolproof plan to tempt devs and publishers to put their back catalogs on the Epic Game Store. Throw money at them. Announced yesterday. This is probably a couple days ago. Yep, because that's when we saw announcement of this. Announced a couple of days ago. The Now on Epic program will offer game makers and license holders 100% of the revenue generated by older games they put on the Epic for the first 6 months of their time on the store, as opposed to the 88%, 12% split that selling games via Epic usually entails. That's for the first 6 months, right? Yeah. It's the corollary and the inverse of the Epic First Run program that launched yesterday. That program offers devs 6 months of 100% revenue from their games, so long as they commit to an equal period of Epic Game Store semi-exclusivity. Once those 6 months are up, the revenue split reverts to the Epic's usual 88-12 division. The Now on Epic program, by contrast, offers a similar deal for games that are already out on non-Epic stores. 6 months of 100% revenue in return for releasing a minimum of 3 products that have been released prior to October 31st of this year, although devs that don't have 3 products that meet those criteria can just bring over all products that are live on other stores instead. The program won't run indefinitely. Devs will only be able to enroll in the program until December 31st of next year, and the games they bring over have to launch before June 30th of 2025. So hey, that's good. As someone currently juggling playthroughs of Knights of the Old Republic 1, Baldur's Gate 2, and Morrowind, I can tell you with some confidence that old games are pretty good, and I'm in favor of any mechanism that rewards license holders for making them more widely available. Nevertheless, I can't help but notice some small irony in the fact that this news comes in the wake of swinging layoffs at Epic itself and its former subsidiary Bandcamp, which in the former instance CEO Tim Sweeney attributed to the company spending way more money than we earn. So, yeah, look. Tons of layoffs at Epic, Bandcamp, selling Bandcamp after acquiring it just roughly a year and a half ago. They are destroying Rocket League's most beloved mechanics of that game for its community, which is player-to-player item trading. They are making Psionics remove that. They fired almost 850 people here recently, many of which apparently came from Mediatonic, which is the developer that they acquired not too long ago that does Fall Guys. Keep it down out there. They're crushing stuff right now, and not in a good way. They're not like, crushing it. They're actually just crushing everybody within their grasp. It's like we are seeing nothing but the default kind of statements coming out of Epic that we see from a lot of these large companies all the time. It's never about, where did things go wrong? They're not trying to be transparent with us. It's like, oh, hey, we're, sorry. We've hit some hard times. And we love our community and we love our employees, but we're going to fire 900 of them. And, there's nothing ever about, transparency in regards to where did things go wrong and what they did to try and save people's jobs. The people who work for this company that have lifted them up to this position of being a large corporation in the gaming industry in the first place, did Tim Sweeney, the billionaire, take any kind of pay cut to try and save those jobs? Nah, probably not. Or any other of the big CEOs, the big wigs running around Epic, they're probably still got their pockets lined with gold. You know what I mean? They're still sprinkling gold dust on their flipping hamburgers and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, it does seem like they're imploding. It does. And that's why, I didn't even realize that apparently Lego had gotten into bed here with Epic roughly, a year and a half ago or something. Cappy made me aware of that, and she was like, what do you think about that? And I was like, well, I think that Lego needs to be careful. Obviously, Epic doesn't own them, but Epic's in a bad spot. And we're seeing the way in which Epic treats these other companies and even their own employees and stuff, when it comes to falling on hard times, right? It's not a good look. I'm actually disgusted by what I've seen with Epic right now. And it makes me not want to have anything to do with their platform and their company, because it's just the same stupid default statements we get all the time. They don't want to be transparent. They don't want to tell, well, we're having, some issues. What's the first thing they do? Fire 16% of their workforce. Jesus, dog. That's, that should be, in my opinion, be like one of the last things you should resort to, right? You should be trying to take care of the people that got you to where you're at, not the first thing you think of. We're falling on some hard times. Just get rid of, a fifth of our workforce. It's like, what? It's wild, dude. But it's just, we just keep getting more and more and more and more bad news out of Epic. And that, I would love to know where it went wrong, but they're not going to tell anybody that, apparently. So I imagine the 12% cut takes Epic on third-party games on its store is not a massive revenue generator for the company, but still must sting for laid-off employees to see Epic turn up the money hose for third parties immediately after asking people to clear their desks. No doubt about it. Epic is pretty disgusting, dude. Feels pretty bad. I don't know, man, what more to say, really. It's I've talked about it a lot here lately. Epic's just the latest example, you know what I mean? But dude, they are in the spotlight right now of being the latest example, and they are doing, a bang up job of making themselves look terrible. Let's be real honest. They're not doing themselves any favors. GeForce RTX 2000 series owners can now enjoy a spot of deep learning enhanced video playback, and the 3000 and 4000 users get to enjoy a little boost in quality too. Corporate would like to know if you can tell us the difference between these two pictures. These are the same pictures. No, I'm playing. This one does look a little bit better. When NVIDIA launched its Super Video Resolution technology, VSR, in February, people with a GeForce 2000 series cards were a bit miffed to find out their GPUs couldn't run the deep learning-powered video upscaling system. It's taken 8 months for the complaints to be addressed, but NVIDIA has finally brought them into the fold with a new driver. Millions of us enjoy streaming short videos and movies all the time, but on PC sporting a high resolution monitor, the visual quality isn't always great. Part of that is down to whatever compression tech the video provider has used. Sometimes it's simply down to the resolution of the streamed content. There's nothing wrong with using a browser to watch a 1080p video on a 4K monitor, but the upscaling method employed by Chrome, Edge, or whatever browser you use is unlikely to be super advanced. Straight lines and edges in the video can be overly blurry, and color gradients can look a tad blocky. VSR gets around these problems by scanning each frame in the original low-res video using a neural network to predict what the frame's residual image will look like after it's been upscaled. The algorithm then uses this to tweak the upscaled frame so that any artifacts are fixed, in theory, at least. It does work pretty well, although depending on what quality setting you use, the GPU's power consumption during video playback can be quite high. The biggest problem with it was that there was no reason as to why RTX 2000 series cards couldn't use it, as they seem to have all of the hardware features required. 8 months on, and Turing owners can finally get it tryout. Get it tryout. That seems weird to read. As NVIDIA has expanded the support to the full range of RTX GPUs in the new version 1.5 of VSR. If you have an Ampere or ADA graphics card, then you might be pleased to know that the overall quality of the system has been improved as well. To be fair, NVIDIA, even in its press release, only shows minor changes, but it's better than not having any at all. Yeah. Kind of what I was saying is like, it's not a huge difference, dude. Really. It's really not. A little bit. It's minor. I've managed to get it to work on my PC, says the author, but I wasn't overly impressed with the results. Unlike NVIDIA's system, which works pretty well in videos showing cartoons or anything with heavy contrasting lines, Microsoft's doesn't seem to make much of a difference at all. All right. There you go. Well, at least it's something for the 2000 series cards, you know. Harebrained Schemes is independent again. Interesting. So, Paradox parts ways with studio less than a week after confirming major layoffs earlier this year. Layoffs again. Paradox and Harebrained say the split was a mutual decision. Less than a week after saying that sales of turn-based tactics games, the Lamplighters League, was a big disappointment, and confirming major layoffs at developer Harebrained Schemes, Paradox Interactive has announced that it has decided to part ways with the studio. Paradox said the split was a mutual decision stemming from each party's strategic and creative priorities, and that HBS will officially be independent again on January 1st of this coming year. Paradox has refocused its strategy towards its core niches within strategy and management games with endless qualities. Paradox COO Charlotta Nilsson said, "We in HBS's leadership have been discussing what would happen after the release of the Lamplighters League, but a new project or sequel in the same genre was not in line with our portfolio plans. Hence, we believe that a separation would be the best way forward. Separation will leave Paradox with ownership of the Lamplighters League and other games developed by the studio, although specifics about which games were not provided. A particular interest on that front are Harebrained's best-known games. Shadowrun and Battletech, both video game series, are based on tabletop games created by FASA, an RPG and tabletop gaming company co-founded by Jordan Weissman, who is also the co-founder of Harebrained Schemes. The absence of those titles and the parting of ways announcement makes me think that Harebrained Schemes may have retained them. HBS offered no insight into that possibility in its own comment on the split. Harebrained Schemes will support the Lamplighters League through the end of the year while we seek funding and partnerships for an independent future in 2024. Studio operations manager Brian Pohl said, "Our studio's mission remains the same: to make games that challenge your mind and touch your heart." Pohl clarified the circumstances behind the split. The decision to separate was primarily driven by changes in Paradox's portfolio plans, which did not include a sequel to the Lamplighters League, nor greenlighting new games in the genres in which we'd built our expertise. So the plans for separation began a while ago when Paradox's strategic planning came into focus. It's also led to layoffs as the project shifted from full production to a smaller post-launch development team, but without a new project to roll over to. What sort of resources Harebrained will have to pursue that mission remains to be seen. One person claiming to be a former employee of the studio said roughly 80% of its employees were laid off in June. Paradox didn't provide numbers in its confirmation, but acknowledged that the headcount had been significantly reduced. The one bright spot for the studio is that it has had consistent success with crowdfunding campaigns for its earlier project, Shadowrun Returns, Hong Kong, and Battletech, all far surpassed their goals on Kickstarter, and they all turned out to be pretty good games too. Yo, that's rough. This makes me wonder, like, what were the initial, like, negotiation conversations like when they wanted to purchase Harebrained in the first place? It had to be pretty good. They had to be aligned in a lot of different ways in order to be like, yeah, let's buy you. And for Harebrained to go, yeah, this seems like a good thing for us. And it went. Oh, that sucks, dude. All right, bro. That's kind of a weird thing. The next Planetary Annihilation game is half Factorio, half RTS, and all SAR Bomba level Annihilation. The intent is to have a world-class factory game that people can engage with, combined with a world-class RTS game. Industrial Annihilation. Scorpion, Mech, say no more. That bot seemed real top heavy, dog. Nice. Invest now. RTS games can be pretty complex, but you generally don't have to concern yourself too much with the economic particulars of whatever you're fighting, whatever war you're fighting. You harvest your Tiberium, your Vespine gas, your minerals, and turn them by alchemy into tanks, guns, and troops. You've got tactics to focus on after all. No need to concern yourself with the dollars and cents. But Industrial Annihilation, which starts its crowdfunding today on Start Engine, can be pre-ordered on its official site, is chucking all that out the window, mashing up a factory sim and an RTS. Latest game in the Planetary Annihilation series promises to have you laying out an achingly efficient supply chain for your various wars at the same time as fighting them. Interesting. Galactic Annihilation, that's the studio, not the game, and yes, I get them mixed up too, is keen to emphasize that both sides of the Industrial Annihilation, that one's the game, are fully featured games unto themselves. The intent is to have a world-class factory game that people can engage with combined with a world-class RTS game, the team told me, adding that the studio is trying to cater to people who come to the game from things like Factorio and more traditional RTS fans. Plenty of niceties you'd expect from an RTS game in the modern era. Industrial Annihilation will let you choose between two main factions, with more to come, I'm sure. Chaos, those would be the bad guys, and Machina, as they wage war for control of the galaxy in both a single-player campaign and multiplayer matches. Each side has its quirks and playstyle differences. Each will need to build up an effective war economy before it can win. Well, interesting. If you want to read more out of that, here you go. Xbox continues to champion the gaming and disability community with new accessibility updates. Let's get that. Wait, that would have worked, I think. There we go. Gaming allows us to experience worlds beyond imagination, share our stories, and forge friendships with people across the world. At Xbox, we believe that gaming is for everyone, including the over 429 million players with disabilities. It is our responsibility to create a place where everyone feels welcome, safe, and included to experience the joy and community of gaming. Each October, we take a moment to celebrate the disability community, and earlier this month, Xbox celebrated its partnership with the Special Olympics in the form of Gaming for Inclusion, a hybrid multi-day tournament that aims to showcase the power of inclusion through gaming, break down barriers, and empower Special Olympics athletes through technology. Prioritizing accessibility in gaming invites more people to experience gaming by empowering all gamers to play in the way that is true to them. Today, we are excited to continue our support of the gaming and disability community by sharing a variety of updates. These include recognizing Craig's Hospital's adaptive gaming program, sharing new accessibility features from Team Xbox, unveiling the playbook for accessible gaming events and an events guide that shares 12 best practices Xbox has learned partnering with gaming and disability community, highlighting the accessibility in games channel in the Xbox store, announcing the next chapter of the Xbox Ambassador Accessibility Explorer path, spotlighting some of our favorite accessible games, including Sea of Thieves, Age of Empires, and recently launched Forza Motorsport, which apparently is having tons of issues. I'm going to have an article up on YouTube a little bit later today regarding this Forza Motorsport. If you're not aware, Playground Games is the developer behind Forza, and is also, if you're not aware, the major title that they've been tabbed to be working on is Fable. So Playground Games has been doing Forza for a long time. And if they can't even release a game that they're familiar with doing in a polished state, what should we be expecting from Fable? A genre of game they've never done before. You know? It's a little bit concerning. When everyone can play, we all win. Check out more details below. Making gaming for everyone. Yeah. So this goes into more detail about everything that's going on. This is a very, very long article, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. But this is great. Look, man, accessibility in gaming. I touch on this stuff a lot. And this is going to be some great content for people to read into. There's some good videos in here. Craig's Hospital Adaptive Gaming Program. How long is this? Let's watch this real quick.
Craig Hospital's Adaptive Gaming Program, Englewood, Colorado, USA. Craig Hospital is a neurorehabilitation and research hospital specializing in spinal cord and brain injury rehabilitation.
I went to college after high school and was playing hours and hours of Halo 2.
Childhood friends that I've had for 18 plus years, we would connect via games.
Games have always been in my life. They made me happy, they really did. They made me happy a lot.
And then I got hurt the summer after my freshman year of college.
I was recently injured in a motorcycle accident. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get back to the things I loved doing.
And video games essentially stopped at that point.
When you think of rehabilitation and returning to life after sustaining a spinal cord injury or a brain injury, it's really easy to focus on everything that was lost in that split second.
It's like real isolating to be like, all right, have fun skiing today. I'll see you when you get back, even though I would love to be there with you.
To be able to walk into a patient's room, sometimes with a controller actually in my hand, and to tell them one of the things that I can give back to them right away is video gaming.
God dang it, of course they're playing a
huge.
flipping EA game.
Being
Jesus
able
Christ.
to have video games to play together was like such a big breakthrough. Having an activity again, like a hobby again.
Our adaptive video gaming program started in 2015.
It has years later brought into a lot of different adaptive equipment, adaptive controllers, all different kinds of consoles as well, and really expanded our knowledge in each one of those areas.
Yeah, dude, it's sick,
We
dude.
have a few different
I'm
ways that
not
we
gonna lie,
utilize
dude. Like
adaptive
this
video gaming.
like
One of them
actually gets
is
me a little bit
through
like
recreation, so
sentimental
taking something
and
that
stuff,
they
dude.
enjoyed doing pre-injury, reintroducing it into their rehabilitation experience and helping them identify
This
what
this
their
is something that
adaptive controller
resonates
needs
very,
will
very
be
strongly with
when they
me.
go home.
Just
Another way
because
that we use it
of
is
how much I love
therapeutically.
gaming.
We can take
You know,
a goal that a patient is
and
working towards in their other disciplines, physical
I
therapy,
I
occupational
want
therapy,
everybody to
speech
be
language
able to
pathology,
enjoy the world that I
and
love so
take
much too.
adaptive video
You know,
gaming and work
it's
towards that goal.
something that's always been
Also,
a
every
huge
single
thing
week,
for
we
me.
have adaptive video game night. Patients can come down and enjoy a couple of hours of a social experience with a group of gamers. Gaming is not a solo experience. It is so often such a social, heavy experience.
Whenever I'm gaming, I'm just happy, and I'm also like competing, I guess. It can be hard to like find areas where you can feel competitive after your injury.
It like kind of eliminates my disability for that
Yeah.
amount of time. We're all just on an equal playing field.
Gaming is one of those avenues where they were able
Hey, isn't
to
that what gaming
interact with
has
their
always been
friends
for all of
or
us though?
have
You
a
like you're able to
coaching and
immerse yourself
interact with their
in an
grandchild or
environment
something
where
like that for the first
you
time.
know it takes
of
you
the
out
first
of
real smiles
where
I had in the hospital
what you
was
are,
when I
who
was
you
able to
are
play Rocket League.
in real
Actually
life. It
co-pilot
allows you to
with
be
my
something
wife.
different.
Being able to play and like
Escape.
do well
It's an
and
escape, right?
contribute was just life-changing, really.
People are passionate about their patients. They're passionate about the patient's goals. Nurses, doctors, physical therapists, speech therapists, anybody. We make that our goal, and we just get fully invested in it.
When you come in and you're like, I want to play video games, you can tell like they want you to play video games too. Like they're like in it with you.
I've had nothing but love here, and just people wishing me to get better and helping me get better. So it's just a great community.
Making sure a patient has a good quality of life, has access to their friends, has ability to interact in some capacity with their loved ones. It is a game changer in recovery.
That's sick, dude. That's flipping awesome. You know, I promote accessibility so hard, dude. And I'm not even anybody that like. I mean, I've had I've got like some nerve damage in one of my arms, but I don't require anything like necessarily specific to get gaming done. Like a lot of the people we just saw in this video do. You know, there are a lot of people from that have endured or you know are just born with some kind of mental to physical, moderate to severe mental or physical disability. And it's, you know, I know a lot of you have heard me like harp on the fact of how important I think it is that developers have a focus on trying to get so many other people into the world of gaming, because it's a great thing, right? I mean, how many of us use it as our escape and our release and you know, the thing that allows us to break away from the daily stressors and anxieties that we have, and you know, we've found that thing that brings us joy and the immersion of allowing us to dive into something different than what can quite often drag us down in the day to day. You know what I mean? And it's I think very important that people that do suffer from some kind of mental or physical disability be just as easily, you know, able to access these things as everybody else. It's, I think, a very important thing, and that's why you'll see me address things like PlayStation's new controller, right? The Project Leonardo crap that controller came out, and it costs even more than a DualSense 5 controller. That's not fair, dude. It's not fair that people that already have had such a hard time getting into the world that we all love, dude, that we all know is so amazing, they all have such a hard time. There's so many more obstacles than, you know, many of the rest of us do in getting into this, you know, the world of video games. Then they have an extra obstacle on top of it as an increased price point for the things they need, specialized equipment they need to play the games too. That sucks, dude. That sucks so terribly bad. So, you know, you guys see me harp on that stuff a lot, but I think hopefully like watching a video like this will help people understand a little bit more, you know, what people go through with disabilities and in how hard it is for them to actually dive into this world that we all love so much. And they deserve to be here with us. You know what I mean? Everybody deserves to be a part of this world that we love. And it's really not fair that they have so many extra obstacles to get through to be able to immerse themselves in the same kind of universe that we all tend to be in and day out, which just brings all of us together in this community, you know what I mean, that we love. It just, it's not really fair. And I advocate for it all the time. Accessibility for people is great. I mean, from people that just need small amounts of accessibility to massive amounts of accessibility. It's great that there's more of a focus on it, but we've got to keep progressing in the industry to give people what they need to get into this world that we all love so much, There's a lot of stuff here to look at. I'm glad we watched that video. I'm glad they had it here for us. There's a lot of stuff to look at here. I think it's great. It's, we're already pretty long into the news segment, and so I'm not going to read this entire thing. It's a very long article. But this is great from Xbox and Microsoft in trying to progress in their accessibility options for people. Yeah, I think this is awesome, man. A dog named Peanut Butter is going to speedrun a Nintendo platformer at AGDQ 2024. I mean, his name's just dope. This dog's name's just Peanut Butter. It actually makes me a little bit sus about the owner, but we'll not go that far into this. Peanut Butter, what are you doing, dude?
Ready. Button.
Last summer, a dog learned to speedrun. And this January, he's gonna do it again.
He's so flippin' cute!
As long as he's not too distracted and he gets a good treat. Awesome Games Done Quick has had speedrunners from all walks of life, from various countries, but GDQ has never had a doge perform on the big stage. Until now. Don't miss this historic event as Peanut Butter, the Shiba, becomes the first doggo to ever perform at Games Done Quick. When JSR lets the dogs out this January, we can all say with certainty, this has never happened before.
Sorry, I know that's loud, my bad.
See you there for some frame-perfect action.
This
at
is
Awesome
flipping
Games
adorable!
Done Quick 2024.
Jesus. Peanut Butter, I cannot wait to see this. There's no rule that says a dog can't play basketball, and apparently there's no rule that says a dog can't speedrun a game at Awesome Games Done Quick, because that's going to happen. A Shiba Inu named Peanut Butter is going to do an unassisted run of the 1985 NES platformer Gyromite on the upcoming AGDQ speedrunning event. But how can a dog speedrun a video game? I hear you asking. In fact, it's a cooperative effort. Peanut Butter is the companion of streamer and speedrunner JSR, who will also be performing at AGDQ 2024 on a Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse run. This will be the first time a dog has appeared at an AGDQ speedrun, but it's not Peanut Butter's first rodeo. Previously managed a 25-minute, 29-second run of a Gyromite in July. Yes, it is apparently official, at least in the eyes of speedrun.com, where JSR's profile page includes a first-place ranking of 25-29 for Gyromite Game B dog assistance. Somehow, Peanut Butter got no credit for the record despite doing all the work. Peanut Butter's first Gyromite run was directed by JSR according to the description of the video on YouTube. He indicated which control pads to press, but all inputs were actually made by the dog. No assistance, auto fire, macros, or save states, were used. Quote, this took years of training, JSR explained on the YouTube listing. I wanted to train him to do something special when I realized that as a puppy that he was so much smarter than most other dogs I've seen. Since I'm a speedrunner, and PB was literally named after, getting a personal best in a speedrun, it only made sense to me. Nice, dude. Well, I'm not going to watch this, but I'll link this so you guys can watch the speedrun of Peanut Butter. And yes, it is really actually happening. Gyromite Dog Assistant Speedrun is locked in on AGDQ 2024 Games listing page. The full schedule for AGDQ 2024 hasn't been released yet, but the event is scheduled to take place January 14th through 21st. With funds raised going to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. AGDQ is amazing. You can watch the peanut butter speedrun right here and get some links for AGDQ. That's awesome. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go. Okay, Elon Musk has unveiled his latest Galaxy Brain plan to save Twitter, charging new users $1 per year to tweet. The Not a Bot program, now in testing, requires all new users to pay an annual fee in order to tweet, retweet, and reply to others. Twitter owner Elon Musk has come up with a bold new plan to rid the platform of bots and attract legitimate new users, charging new subscribers $1 per year for access. The Not a Bot program, as it's known, is now in testing in New Zealand and the Philippines, where all new accounts will have to take 2 steps in order to access the platform, verify their phone number, and then sign up on a subscription plan. The premium package, with its once coveted, now embarrassing blue check, is still available at a rate of $8 per month. But Twitter is also now testing a new effectively mandatory tier going for $1 or local equivalent per year, which will enable users to post content like posts, reply, repost, and quote other accounts' posts and bookmark posts. Those who opt out of paying will be limited to read-only activities, reading posts, watching videos, and following other accounts. This new program aims to defend against bots and spammers who attempt to manipulate the platform and disrupt the experience of other Twitter users. The announcement states, "We'll look forward to sharing more about the results soon." I can sort of see where someone who's completely out of ideas might cook up a scheme like this to combat bots, attaching a nominal fee. And more importantly, I think the process of paying it to new account creation is superficially, at least, a semi-valid anti-spam measure. But $1 per year is such a tiny amount that I have to wonder how much real impact it will have. Yeah, $100 for 100 accounts strikes me as a reasonable price to pay to be able to fire off a wave of tweets about the latest crypto scam. The bigger issue, though, is the cost-benefit analysis that comes into play, particularly for casual users. Simply put, it's a headache. Are people really going to deal with the hassle, minor though it may be, of signing up for any kind of subscription fee for a service that used to be free, and especially one that's becoming an infamous crap swamp over the past year? Twitter's usefulness as a channel for sharing information during times of crisis has effectively evaporated under Musk's tenure. At this point, it's almost impossible to separate truth and fact from endless waves of spam, nonsense, and active disinformation. Yep. Even if committed users of Twitter see this new fee as an anti-bot effort, those who are not, which is to say the mass that Twitter needs to attract in order to return it to a state of growth and nominal value, I think are more likely to view it subconsciously, at least, as a value statement. And anything that goes for $1 per year, folks, is not worth 1 red cent. The obvious looming question is whether this program will eventually be expanded to Twitter's existing user base. Currently, it only applies to new accounts, and there's no official indication that current users will be forced to pay up or lose out. But the statement that existing users are not affected within this test suggests that if the test is successful and the program is rolled out across the platform, it probably will be retroactive. I totally suspect, I would expect it to be retroactive, being something coming out from Elon Musk, you know. That, I suspect, will signal the true end of Twitter. The current state of the platform simply isn't worth anything. The degraded quality of content and usability, thanks to the end of TweetDeck, has made it an actively unpleasant experience. If Musk were to clean house, restore functionality, and get Twitter properly back on track, then maybe it might be worth a subscription fee. But applying a fee first as part of a purported effort to clean up his own self-made mess is an ass-backwards approach, and one that I strongly suspect will backfire just like every other change so far. Reached out to Twitter to ask about the possibility. Good news is that the Twitter press account is no longer auto-replying with a poop emoji. Bad news is that the current auto-reply isn't any more informative. Busy now. Please check back later. This dude. Um, yeah. So, Phil Spencer explains why they. So, all of this kind of comes into play together here. This is basically like the end of what I have to address here for the news segment today. If anybody has anything else to bring up pertinent for video game news, for the industry, what's going on that I might not have hit on here recently, then let me know and we'll address it before we kind of finish up for the day. No gaming content today. Got family stuff going on. Not a normal Thursday. I'm sorry, but we'll just kind of wrap up the news segment and be done for the day. But if you have anything else, let me know and in chat, and I'll address it before we move on. Okay. Phil Spencer explains why there won't be any Activision games on Game Pass in 2023. The earlier uncertainty around the merger means no Activision games on the service until next year. We kind of knew this, right? So during a podcast, Spencer was questioned about the recent news that we wouldn't see a massive drop of Activision Blizzard games on Game Pass immediately after the deal finalized, as many had expected. As it was pointed out, a major flood of Game Pass newcomers happened when Xbox acquired ZeniMax. 20 Bethesda games dropped onto the service just days after, including some of the company's biggest franchises. Where then are all the Activision Blizzard games? Why is this different? Per Phil Spencer, they're coming eventually, but the regulatory challenges surrounding this acquisition made it a bit trickier to navigate than the ZeniMax deal. Adding games to Game Pass isn't as simple as flipping a switch to put them on there. The truth, quote, the truth of the matter is that with Activision Blizzard King, that the regulatory process took so long, and frankly, there was a lot of uncertainty in the process up until really a week before we closed, or the week of, when the CMA finally came down to their decision that we weren't able to get in and work with, mostly Activision Blizzard in this case, on that back catalog work, Spencer says. So now that the deal is closed, we're starting that work, but there is work. And the Twitter handle did put out something that talked about 2024. I think that's accurate. I would love it if there was some kind of secret celebration drop that was coming in the next couple of weeks. There's not. Spencer went on to acknowledge that the lack of celebratory sudden drop was a little bit of a downer, but reassured that the games are coming eventually, including D4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. In the same interview, he also reiterated 100% parity for all of Call of Duty across all platforms, including PlayStation, in keeping with Xbox's 10-year deal with Sony. That's kind of what I suspected to be the case. There's just a lot of ins and outs they're having to work through with what this acquisition held in store for them. Now, segueing into this, Xbox boss Phil Spencer is open to breaking the seal on some forgotten games, as they should be. I've said this the whole time. They're getting a lot of great modern games, but they're also getting a great catalog and portfolio of traditional IPs, like iconic IPs in the gaming industry that need to be, frankly, brought back into modern gaming. And if they're not juggling around the idea of bringing some of those iconic franchises back into modern gaming, that's an oversight. You know they have to be doing that. If teams want to go back and revisit some games, I'm going to be all in. Got to get back to the past. It looks like there's already some great news for fans of Activision Blizzard's older catalog, as confirmed by Xbox boss Phil Spencer himself in an official interview on the Xbox channel. I do think with Game Pass that we have the ability to pick a couple of franchises every year and almost do like a revisited version. I just made up that term. When you look across the franchises that are part of our teams, there's an opportunity to go back. There really is a huge catalog to cover. Two of gaming's biggest companies merging for a second time with Microsoft. That's miles of fertile ground to dig up for remakes and remasters. Still, Spencer insists he's not keen on cash grabs. I want to make sure that when we go back and visit something, we do it with our complete ability, not just create something for financial gain or a PR announcement and not deliver. God dang, dude. I like I said before, we were discussing the issue of like what Phil Spencer means to Xbox and Jim Ryan leaving PlayStation, and how I feel that not only PlayStation, but Nintendo as well, they need a Phil Spencer as their focal point and an image for their player base and consumers to look at, and somebody they can relate to. Somebody good at business, but somebody that is a gamer at heart and can put out these kinds of statements that allows people to resonate with and go, man, that's a company that I can get behind. You know, we see this kind of stuff from Phil Spencer all the time, which if I was a console gamer, I've moved away from console greatly nowadays because I'm not a fan of the console gaming industry. I've moved away from it greatly over the past half decade because I don't like a lot of what they do. But if I was going to be in bed with one, it would be Xbox, and in large part because of Phil Spencer. It's this kind of stuff, that these sentiments, and I think that he's got a lot of good stuff that's happened for Xbox in the past because of who he is as a gamer, and I think there's more to come. Ultimately, why he's got his own wish list, the return of FPS classic Hexen, is a running gag. Spencer says it's important for these refreshed coats of paint to be a result of developer passion. Teams want to go back and revisit some of the things we have and do a full focus on it. I'm going to be all in. I think there's an amazing trove of games we can go and touch on again. I think about things like the Quake 2 remaster that just came out from ID Software. I thought that was awesome. They did a real good job visiting a game, making it current, but not leaving its history behind. I'd love seeing more things like that. I talk about that a lot too. If you're going to bring a game back, it's a tightrope for developers. You've got to maintain the things of that game that made it so iconic in the past and beloved in the past, while also trying to modernize it to an extent, right? Absolutely right. These are all plans for the future, though, Spencer says. It's likely we won't be seeing Activision Blizzard's catalog coming to the Game Pass this year. The truth of the matter is with Activision Blizzard King is that the regulatory process took so long, we weren't able to get in and work with Activision Blizzard on the back catalog. Now that the deal is closed, we're starting that work, but there is work. Okay. So the last thing we're going to look at here is, shout out to Vault. Vault hooked me up with this list. These are the titles that Microsoft and Xbox are bringing in from Activision Blizzard King, right? And I'll just read these off. And one of the things that I noted people need to remember, there are going to be some of these Activision titles that were traditionally big PlayStation titles, that won't be there anymore for them. It was a situation where Microsoft, if you remember, and I touched on this previously in this news segment, but I'll hit on it again right now in case anybody missed it. Whenever Microsoft and Xbox initially got into this business of trying to acquire Activision Blizzard, one of the first things they tried to do was to appease a lot of the regulatory committees was give PlayStation a 10-year deal. And PlayStation immediately shut it down. Jim Ryan and PlayStation immediately shut it. We've seen all the documents. We've seen the emails, all that stuff. And the initial 10-year deal from Microsoft to PlayStation, or from Xbox to PlayStation, was for Call of Duty to remain on their platform for 10 years, as well as a lot of their traditional Activision games to be there as well. Well, they shot that down, and the 10-year deal they ended up getting later on, after so many other companies had signed 10-year deals, was just for Call of Duty. So, yes, PlayStation's getting Call of Duty, but they're not getting all those other Activision titles they traditionally had. They, basically, Microsoft and Xbox went, yo, this deal's happening, and you can sign into this 10-year deal. We'll give you another 10-year deal, but it's not going to be the same one you got before. And Sony basically signed it because they knew that they were losing at that point, And so it's one of those deals where, yo, what's up, mama? Basically, PlayStation knew that they had finally, they had to give in. They lost. And had they signed, they gambled. They gambled, right? And they lost because they could have had Call of Duty, as well as a lot of other titles they traditionally had on their platform, had they just signed the original 10-year deal. And because they didn't, all they got was Call of Duty in the long run, which isn't nothing, but it's not nearly what they could have had. So, with Activision Blizzard King joining Microsoft and Xbox, this is what Microsoft and Xbox now have as part of their portfolio. This is all the games. Call of Duty, Crash Bandicoot, post 2008, Diablo, Gabriel Knight, post 2008, Geometry Wars, post 2008, Guitar Hero, post 2007, Gun, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, Heavy Gear, Heretic, post 2019 or post 1997, Interstate 76, King's Quest, after 2008, Laura Bow Mystery Series, after 2008, The Lost Vikings, Overwatch, Phantasmagoria, after 2008, Pitfall, Police Quest, after 2008, Prototype, Quest for Glory, post 2008, Singularity, Ski Resort Tycoon, Skylanders, Soldier of Fortune, Space Quest, after 2008, Spyro, after 2008, StarCraft, which I think you can expect. This is my expectation. I think we get a new StarCraft game. SWAT, after 2008, Tenchu, only the games released before Activision sold the franchise rights to From in 2004. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and associated titles, True Crime, Ultimate Soccer Manager, after 2008, Warcraft, World of Warcraft, Zork, after 1986. And every King game Xbox now owns right here. Bubble Saga, Bubble Witch Saga, Hoop-de-Loop Saga. All these are going to be sagas. Okay, so let's just go like this. Hoop-de-Loop, Candy Crush, that's a huge one. Pyramid Solitaire, Pet Rescue, Papa Pear, Farm Heroes, Pepper Panic, Bubble Witch 2, Diamond Digger, Candy Crush Soda, Alpha Betty, Scrubby Dubby, Paradise, Blossom Blast, Candy Crush Jelly, Farm Heroes Super, Shuffle Cats, Bubble Witch 3, Legend of Soulguard, Diamond Diaries, Candy Crush Friends, Pet Rescue Puzzle, Knighthood, Epic RPG Nights, Crash Bandicoot On the Run, and Rebel Riders. While many of these games and franchises have been dormant for years, even decades, in some instances, they are nonetheless under the Xbox umbrella now. This means Xbox could theoretically revive any of them or create sequels to games on the list. For example, just this week, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick reportedly held an all-hands employee meeting where he was interviewed by former late-night host James Corden about a potential Guitar Hero revival and more. Thank God Bobby Kotick is going to be resigning at the end of the year because, in my opinion, Bobby Kotick is one of the biggest pieces of this puzzle conundrum. I don't understand how he's still there. He is the CEO of Activision Blizzard that has been there through the entirety of all of their mismanagement and everything. How it's got to be there's some corruptness going on, dude. I don't know. But Bobby Kotick has to go. And that was, dude, I have said from the beginning of last year when we heard that this acquisition was a potential thing, that if Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, Bobby Kotick had to be ousted. And thank God, it seems like that's actually happening. So as soon as we got word that this acquisition was finalized, we also heard Bobby Kotick was going to be resigning as Activision Blizzard CEO at the end of the year, beginning of 2024. Thank God. He has to be gone. Microsoft's got their hands full with trying to get Activision Blizzard back into something, internally decent. And along with everything else they've got on their hands with just trying to get this entire portfolio meshed into their current services and everything too. And I'm so glad to hear that Bobby Kotick's going to be out of there. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that vault. If there's potential there. Yeah. But I mean, again, I think this is the thing to take away. Like what we read earlier from Bobby Kotick, or not Bobby Kotick, from Phil Spencer. I got Bobby's on my mind about reviving the games and doing it right, not just as a cash grab, right? I mean, those are the things, dude, I love to hear from Phil. You know what I mean? And that's why I keep talking about how these other console players need that person in their company. You know what I mean? That's the stuff you want to hear, not just a cash grab. So, yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen companies try and emulate what GTA is? Well, we're hearing rumors right now that Netflix is trying to emulate that, or even trying to get maybe even certain Rockstar games on their platform, you know, something like that. It's not an easy thing to do. There's certain companies that have you know, perfected it and made it very popular, whether it be like From Software with the Soulsborne stuff that so many other companies try to emulate, and it's not an easy thing to do, or Rockstar, right? Rockstar with like GTA and Red Dead. They're so good at that stuff, even though Rockstar's disgusting to me right now as well. If they're going to do it, they're going to have to do it right. Yeah. But they've got the you're right. I mean, they've got some nice foundations to work off of there with some of those old iconic IPs, you know what I mean? They just need to really get a nice solid think tank going for what to do with some of these older titles that haven't been utilized in a while. You know what I mean? I think that's the first thing they have to do. They got to get a good crew together, think tank in this stuff, and finding out where to go with it. I think they will, and I really think that Phil Spencer will be at the helm of that. You know, I hope so, anyways, because I think we could get some really good stuff coming out of them from that. We'll just have to see what happens, dude. You know, they've got a lot of potential there, and time will tell. Time will tell. I'm glad to see. I've said this all along. I think that Activision Blizzard needed to be bought out. They had a lot of issues, and I'm glad to see a company like Microsoft buy them out. Microsoft is a company, they're massive. They've had their own internal issues they've had to work through in the past. You know what I mean? And I think that if there was another big company that could come in and maybe turn them around, I think Microsoft's one that could do a decent job of it. Time will tell, though, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully they'll do a good job of taking a lot of that portfolio they're bringing in, and there are a lot of people that want to see some of those old games be turned back into something special. You know, Activision Blizzard are both iconic long-running developers that people fell in love with for some former, you know, for some reason in the past, for many different reasons usually, and I think the hope from a lot of people is to see. And I know for me specifically, the Blizzard side of things, you know, how often do I talk about, I mean, I don't even play Blizzard games anymore because they've just become so disgusting for me. I just want to see them become something decent and respectable again. And I think the purchase by Microsoft is the start of that. I'm hopeful anyways that they can turn into something respectable again where I'll be comfortable playing their games again. I hope so much. I loved that company so much whenever I was a kid, dude. And to watch them turn into what they've turned into is just so heartbreaking, man. So heartbreaking. It was a great news segment, guys. Lots of news because the stream was down yesterday for our normal day off. I've got family stuff going on today, so I'm only doing the news today. We'll be back for a full stream tomorrow. And then this weekend's off too for family stuff. So that's abnormal for our usual schedule. I usually stream 6 days a week for anybody that's not familiar. Wednesdays are our only normal day off, but I've got family stuff going on this week. So hopefully everybody understands. I don't like taking time off. It feels weird to me. I like being here and doing this. This is my jam, dude. I like hanging out with you amazing people. I like playing video games and talking video games. That's my jam. But family stuff's important, and we've got some really fun, cool family time planned. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'll be back again. So tomorrow will be a full stream, and then I'll be back on Monday as well. Okay, so I don't know if anybody was able to hang out today and check out the new segment live, then just know that this is the way things always go for us. We're normally, it's a 6-day-a-week stream. We start off at 6 a.m. CST CDT. We always kick it off with video gaming news. We try to stay current on what's going on in the industry before we immediately segue into playing games for the rest of the day. And we're usually live for 8 to 9 hours average. But today's a little bit different. This week's a little bit different. And we're just going to be ending after the news segment today. But normally we would segue into just playing games for the rest of the day. For anybody that might be watching this as a VOD, all of our content is always kept on the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel, whether it be video gaming news segments, playthroughs of games we've done, funny clips and highlights of just wild things that have happened while we're live, and you know, having fun together and stuff. And so I try my best to make sure that I keep all that content on the Twitch channel. It's highlights that are put in playlists together. On the YouTube channel, it's always exported into VODs and put into playlists together. So you can always go check out all the playthroughs we've done. You can always check out all the previous video gaming news segments. All that stuff's out there. So if you're enjoying this, go check out some of the other content. We've got an amazing community here of individuals that are obviously first and foremost passionate about the gaming industry. That's what brings us together. Video games as a whole, we have fun playing games together. But it's a community of amazing people that take care of one another, are accepting of one another, and can be civil about maybe having differences, which I think is an important thing for people to be able to do nowadays in the world we live in. Being void of toxicity, just presenting a welcoming place for everybody to be on a day in and day out basis, and have fun hanging out together and spreading good vibes, man. So if that's the kind of place that you sound like, sounds like you would like to be a part of, then we would love to have you come hang out with us more often, when we are live, which is normally 6 days a week. Again, the rest of today is going to be a down day. We'll be back tomorrow, and then Saturday and Sunday will be down days too, which is abnormal. But that's all I got, man. Play it cool, Vault. I know better. Yo, what's up, Psycho? Hey, man, I didn't even know I had googly eyes there. Thanks, dude. So I don't know. You guys rock, dude. Thanks. I know the news segment was long, but we're covering like 2 days of news today because I was down yesterday. There will be a ton of new content on YouTube later today, so get ready for that. Lots of like last week's news segments, cutouts from those news segments that are pertinent, as well as like some playthrough stuff, probably things like that. So get ready for that stuff. Other than that, man, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Again, I've got family stuff going on today, so no gaming content. But I'll be back live tomorrow. I'll try to let everybody know tonight on Discord what game we're going to play for tomorrow as we finish Layers of Fear on Tuesday. So stay healthy, stay safe, be kind, man. Have a great flipping rest of your Thursday. Big love, dude. Spread it around. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're not normal, but that's okay. Normal's boring, isn't it? I think that's the way that works. So, short list. You guys rock, dude. I appreciate you very much. Have a great rest of your day, and I can't wait to be back tomorrow, and I'll let you know what we're going to play a little bit later on Discord, okay? You guys rock. Thanks. See you tomorrow.